visions in my head of this. You don't know the half of it. I got dreams of looking up, highs I can get, but nothing feels like how it feels to know these things I don't know yet. The weight of everything, and everything's just thread. Sometimes I'm trapped inside and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But to take on the world is the only thing that we know how to do. I've got dreams of finding out what all of this is for. It's you and me. And everywhere we go, it leads to an open door. We've made our mistakes, the good and bad days, but nothing really breaks if I got you. Look at the sky when you go outside, and know there is nothing to keep me back from you. I got dreams of finding out what all of this is for. It's you and me, and now there is nothing. And everywhere we go, we're leading to an open. Keep me back, keep me back, keep
我的精神也很顽强，你掌握不了，我是宣扬天空变化莫测，境况让人前世，快失败了你也都没办法，你的安排像灾祸，在我看来你帮就无奈，你们胜利也不受崇拜。I'm a great, I go way up and paving my way through the smoke and the flame and the cold and the rain. Yeah, you wanna be me, but I stand out. You on flat earth looking at my cloud. Standing tall through the test. Standing tall through the test. 我的精神也很顽强，你掌握不了，我是宣扬天空变化莫测，境况让人前世，快失败了你也都没办法，你的安排像灾祸，在我看来你帮就无奈，你胜利也不受崇拜。Standing tall through the test. Standing tall through the test. 你看我的 set 就知道我的团队在团结。Team is the best， 他们值得 respect， 我们之间有巨大的差别。连我妈妈也叫我永远的神。我一回家，她说大儿子你很 tough， 一直不带不能被取代，比我更努力的人也不存在。倒是我起来和盐酸奶直接出了那战斗。Great, I go way up and paving my way through the smoke and the flame and the cold and the rain. If you wanna be me, but I stand out. You're on flat earth looking at my cloud. Standing tall through the test. Standing tall through the test. Standing tall through the test. 我的精神也很顽强，你掌握不了，我是宣扬天空变化莫测，境况让人前世，快失败了你也都没办法，你的安排像灾祸，在我看来你帮就无奈，你的胜利也不受崇拜。我的精神也很顽强，你掌握不了，我是宣扬天空变化莫测，境况让人前世，快失败了你也都没办法，你的安排像灾祸，在我看来你帮就无奈，你的胜利也不受。Standing tall through the test. I'm a true to respect. Standing tall through the test. I'm a true to respect. 精神也很顽强，你掌握不了，我是宣扬天空变化莫测，境况让人前世，快失败了你也都没办法，你的安排像灾祸，在我看来你帮就无奈。Now we still go ape, hey. Standing tall to the test. Standing tall to the test. Cause I'm a true to respect. Standing tall through the test.
Just don't let it fade. Don't let go of your face. I think that you know. You hate that bitter taste. Falling again. All the lessons you learned. Eyes wide open. This is your moment. Turn away. Feel the pain. It's your fate. Celebrate. We gotta stay awake.
We back again, we back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again, we back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. We back again, we back again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again, we back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends. again. I'm bouncing up before they count to 10. We back again. We back again. Tell your mother, brother, sister, and your friends.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we've been expecting you. This is RoSEA Grand Finals here at VALORANT Challengers Southeast Asia. My name is Colden. Joined with me for the broadcast here today, none other than Mr. Multitudes himself. And we're here to bring you some crazy action as we're down to the top two teams here in RoSEA.
The top two indeed. I mean, both these teams have obviously qualified and will be moving on into the group stages for Pacific. But I mean, now's the time to really show things off. Now's the time to, for the pride and glory here, Colden. And I think I'm all for it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get things started here today. But yeah, it's been a bit of a ride, right? Multitudes. It's been a long open qualifier. We've come in towards the playoffs. We had a lot of ups and downs in terms of the matches, different teams showing up in different moments. And who could have thought, right, that now we're here in the grand finals, one of the favorites in the form of Motive. And then on the other side of the field is an underdog story that, well, we can't wait to tell.
An underdog indeed, right? Overpowered youths have really made their way through the brackets and toughed it out through a series. I mean, they have played the most matches here, total of 14 maps here in Split 1, and they've really toughed it out. And if you were, with us yesterday during the lower finals against U5, you can really tell that their grit is now in the game, and the Dark Horse run is really starting to bloom. And I think that's part of the story. We've got Motive, who have been very much undefeated in the 6 maps that they've proven themselves, the 3 series matchups, very clean. And then OPY just making it work round by round, map by map, and I think that is the basis of the story that we want to tell here today.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we have the brackets to show for, this entire playoffs run as well. So it's an interesting story, right? We've had that favorite team in the form of Motive going undefeated, right, all the way to the grand finals. And one of the teams that we expected to meet them there at their grand finals was Unsigned 5. Going all the way to the upper bracket finals, losing the Motive. And then you think that, hey, Unsigned 5, they're gonna take it up against Overpowered Youths. Best of 5, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And a team such as Unsigned 5, with the players that they have, you think that they're going to close it out. They were up 2-0 in that lower finals, but then something clicked for OPY. Something magical aligned for them in the stars, and they reverse swept Unsigned 5, going all the way to the grand finals now and having a shot versus Motive to be the champions of the first ever RoSEA qualifier.
It truly, I think, is a story here of David versus Goliath, right? We've got a tried and true tested team. Motive, I mean, if you look at the way they play, you look at your team compositions and the agent selections that they have, they are coming in prepared. Like the Power Rangers, right? They're just dropping in, they know exactly what they should be doing, and they roll out. And OPY, a scrappy young team, the youth themselves, trying to make it work. And we'll go through the picks and bans throughout tonight, but you can tell that they're evolving, they're adapting, just like Vito themselves, taking it to the next level with an evolution. It is so fun to watch. And I think that that's the journey that they've had so far, right? It took them 14 maps, a great series through the lower brackets to get here, and now is their real fighting chance to maybe put a dent into it. Sure, they've qualified, but take it a step notch higher and bring down the giants that is Motive.
Yeah, this is that David and Goliath story that you mentioned, right? It's now or never. You've already done what could be said as the heavy lifting in the form of qualifying for Challengers Southeast Asia, because yes, these two teams have already qualified the Challengers Southeast Asia group stage, but having that prize, that title of champion of your region is something that you could hold very high for years, for months to come. And of course, this is that favorite team that we've been talking a lot about. A revitalized roster, confirming their players just a couple of weeks, if not days, before the entire Open qualifiers even began, had the time to cook, and well, they did a masterpiece in terms of the pieces that they've chosen. Minimized the IGL, brought all the way from Oceania. Flaring, Vera, Zen, and Riza round out the roster as a very, very well-balanced team. Every single one of them have the capacity to pop off at any moment.
Indeed, and we've seen that through the stats. I think one of the stats that you kind of researched about was, all 5 players are indeed the top 7 rated players of RoSEA playoffs, which means that they're an absolute powerhouse. And to be going against these overpowered views, INF, Teddy, Pyrex, Kestrel, as well as Miz, the last player, you can obviously tell not the full black shirt because it has been a late addition to the team due to unforeseen circumstances. It was first love back in the first couple of series for OPY, and was actually part of the original 5 that went up against MTV during round 2 of the playoffs. But now that Miz is here, is he possibly the solution, right, to unlocking overpowered views to the next level and perhaps having a bit of a revenge arc against MTV?
Yeah, and you can see, not technically aligned in terms of the black jersey, the black shirt, but if you can take a good look at that jersey, he was on Seoul, which was a South Asian organization. He was playing in Malaysia, Singapore back when we had our own region, and he was a dominant force there on the team of Soy Thai, very, very potent. But then he took a little bit of a journey all the way to South Asia, towards India, and really made a name for himself. So now he's back in towards our region here again, and he's put on an amazing show. But speaking about amazing shows, we've got 2 showstoppers here in the form of Zen and Teddy. Both of these players, I would say, the X factors for their team, right? Both of these players have recorded the first and second highest kills for their respective teams. In the matches that we've had so far, 25 for Teddy and 24 for Zen. So both of these players, I think, if you've got either of them up and firing, you have a very strong chance of, winning out that match.
Completely agree, right? Teddy on one side, rocks the Yoru, I think 70+% of the time, and that proficiency just means that kill rate is absolutely bewildering. But Zan, on the other hand, look at the assists, right? 11.2 overall thus far, and I think had 26 assists against Unsigned 5 on a couple of maps as the in-house controller from Motive Esports, which just means that with good understanding of supporting the rest of your team, that's precisely where Zan really shines as well. So a bit of a sharp blade versus a Swiss knife have it all, and I think that would be very interesting to see which player unlock.
Zen is coming in as the controller player, right, as you mentioned. He was historically a duelist player, and even just last year, right, in the team that he was playing for, Naus, who coincidentally also qualified to Challengers Southeast Asia. But during his run in Ascension last year, he was playing that main duelist role, very aggressive. And, we had a little bit of a conversation in my watch party while I was watching one of Zan's games, right? He was jumping through smokes as a controller, jumping shots, hit shot kills while in the air. And you can see that duelist mentality still living with and breathing within him. And he's brought that to the controller role. So if your controller can bring that kind of firepower that a duelist can bring to the team, well, you don't even need to run double duelist compositions. You've got one, just in a different kind of agent, but still with that soul and spirit.
Speaking of compositions, right? I think these two teams actually rock fairly distinct compositions throughout their entire series here in the Split 1. Motive on one side almost gives me G2-esque vibes, very slow, methodical. They almost always run double controller, my apologies, except for 1 or 2 maps where they may run double sentinels, but for the most part, they like that controlled space. They like to do some pump fakes that we've seen here and there, especially on Corrode, back and forth, to do that push and pull. Haven's a very common one as well. Whereas on the other side of the fence, right, OPY, young, hungry, and scrappy kids they are, double duelists, true and true, nothing, no deviations whatsoever. They've run it through, and sure, there have been maybe some changes in terms of like swapping out the Jet for a Neon, etc., but for the most part, do like their fast, punchy execs, and execs they can do.
Yeah. As you mentioned, right, this is a different style of play between these two teams, right? One has that single duelist composition, one is a double, and somewhere, shape or form, the double duelist setup has won or has been able to work for OPY despite them having some role issues that we've seen them have, especially yesterday when they brought in Miz, right? Miz, historically a duelist player, but with essentially 3 duelists on OPY, it's going to be difficult for them to find that kind of consistent form in terms of the roles. So, you know, what does OPY do? Miz takes the initiative, says, hey, I'm going to step down from my comfort role. I'm going to slot in towards the initiator spot and call you guys to a victory, a reverse sweep. And we're going to need to see that kind of calling here today because it's a best of 5. Motive have the opportunity to ban out their first 2 maps. It's gonna be one of the perma bans, Split is out, but Corrode their second ban. So, you know, not the second perma ban, which is typically Abyss. Instead, they're gonna go for Corrode, which, you know, has been, I would say, their weakest map that they've shown so far. So I can kind of understand that kind of perspective. So very interesting that Motive have come in with a new map that they haven't showed so far, which is gonna be Abyss. That's the 3rd map. But before that, we've got Breeze, Motive's pick, Vine, picked by OPY, understandably so, very strong on that map, very comfortable. OPY pick Haven after Abyss, which is another comfort map of their own, and then Pearl, the decider, you know, one of the maps that both of these teams played previously in their head-to-head.
Indeed, and hey, I'm not surprised that Breeze is actually MTV's first map pick here in the series of 5. It is, after all, a mental game, Colden, right? Especially when you have 5 maps ahead of us. Breeze is actually one of the perma bans from the side of OPY, and with MTV having like basically advantage of banning 2 and then picking their first, it really might shift the momentum for the side of MTV, unless, you know, the overpowered use, they have things up their sleeve. I'm actually really excited to see how they want to bring the heat here as double duelist on Breeze. But the interesting part, and I think you caught it as well, OPY are starting defense on Breeze.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I don't know how much I agree with it, but I think we did do a little bit of digging, right, in terms of finding out if their defense sides are slightly better, but they are generally better at attack than defense. So, you know, I can understand the perspective where some teams like to end off on the side that they're more comfortable on. So it gives them, you know, the security knowing that, hey, you know, even though we might lose out a couple rounds, you know, starting out the map, as long as we don't have too big of a buffer or too big of a score difference, we can still come back on that attack side. We can still do a lot of damage. And with a double duelist, I think, you know, it has been working for them. So I'm curious to see how this pans out up against a strong team like Motive.
I mean, it might be OPY's kind of like deep strat. Yesterday, they were literally backs against the wall, 2 maps down, and then they came back swinging, right? And I think that kind of momentum shift, if they can pull it off once again, can be very strong. So that might be perhaps a peel back of the curtain for themselves in terms of the way the players think. But no, I'm truly super excited. I mean, the last couple hours, I was trying to get some other work done, but I've been so shaken up by today's matchups. I think it is going to be spectacular, and wouldn't be surprised if you see some overtimes and some test of will, because ultimately it is truly a game of attrition here at the Grand Finals.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? It's best of 5s. I think they've had a pretty long night yesterday. You know, all 5 maps gone through the whole ordeal, and after that, you know, tiring ordeal, how did they perform here? I'll have to ask the question, right? Who do you think is gonna actually come out on top today? Who's gonna take that crown?
So, I mean, okay, can you really see it? Yeah, I'm wearing a black shirt, Colin's wearing a white shirt. I'm unfortunately the black sheep here in the cast of the casters here for RoSEA. I'm going for OPY. I saw what they did yesterday. I'm super excited. I think their potential is still yet unlocked, right? They are so hard to predict at times. I mean, if you look at the way they've brought up their compositions, yes, their agent selects may be the same, but there have been so many role swaps. It's hard to pin down, and I think that is their fighting edge.
I see. So you're going with the dark horse of OPY. Well, I've stuck to the light,
light.
where the truth resides, all right? It's gonna be Motive. I know we love an underdog story. I know that OPY have done incredible work yesterday up against a very strong unsigned 5, but I think going up against Motive is a different beast. I mean, they've got, coach spin behind the wheel, cooking up a lot of strats. I love that Motive have gone for an unconventional style of composition, not buying into the double duelist, saying, hey, we believe in our style, we believe in our structure, and we're going to stick to it. And that's the reason why they've gone flawless in their run so far in the playoffs.
Indeed. I mean, that is true. That is true. It was a hard choice for myself, and I can completely understand why the rest of the casters here are opting for Motive. But we do have the agent selects on screen, and oh my lord, I see a Reyna. I see a Reyna here.
Okay.
Is that INF on a Reyna?
INF on the Reyna. If they're gonna go out, with a bang, might as well just kick it off with a Reyna. That's one way to do it. Very interesting. Never really seen. Okay, I have seen INF play the Reyna, but it wasn't wasn't building a lot of confidence back when, years ago when he played the Reyna. But hey, as the lurker of the team, as the sort of sentinel, how does he want to defend sides as a Reyna? I don't know, but they've got triple duelists. They're bringing the heat here in the grand finals on one of the maps that they, basically never played, that permaban. So why not try something crazy?
Yeah, left wing completely, right? Left field as well. I mean, if we don't know the plan, they can't tell the plan either. Then perhaps that's OPY's way of getting into MTV's head. MTV on the other side, running the double duelist, double controller. They can't get enough of those smokes to cut the battlefield. So we'll have to see how they want to play this, right? Right off the bat, we're already deploying that Viper wall down A, and I want to see more conditioning when that comes out throughout the early rounds as MTV take to the attack side. But already, look at these dots coming up from the defense, right? OPY looking to take this mid space early with, like you call it, triple duelists here for this lineup.
Triple duels to kick things off. Multitudes, I can't wait to get this grand final started. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Motive versus OPY for that championship spot of RoSEA playoffs. Who's gonna take it? Motive first on bat in towards this mid position, out towards the hallway, and then crunch down the players down towards mid. Not before Pyrex has something to say about this. It's the Reyna in the feed, and he goes down without finding a single kill. 3 versus 1 now. OPY have been clutched in the 1vx's yesterday. Can they do it here again for the pistol?
It's a lot for Miz to have to do, but the newcomer might be able to work it as long as they understand where Minimize is, just hiding around this corner.
Planted. Revealing area.
All right.
Nope, one to the back.
That's a clean start coming in from Motive. Not gonna miss any shots whatsoever. And they've taken the first round in their pocket. So early aggression coming in from OPY, but instantly snuffed out.
Indeed. And Breeze, one of the reworks that have come out back into the map pool with a slew of changes, right? They've really cut down in terms of those long sight lines and tried to make it so that the smokes that come out from these controllers are able to really cut the map nicely into proportions. And I think that's precisely why the double controllers is going to be quite important moving into this phase. As right now I've got MTV here wanting to make some presence. This is the early conditioning that we're wanting to see a little bit more from this Viper wall. Keeping 3 at the A site, but I think their senses are tingling.
Ooh. Interesting rotations coming in from OPY. They're reading it correctly. Motive heading towards this B side as all 5 players of OPY coming in for this stack. Is Motive going to be aware of this in time, or is the commitment going to be way too soon? Miz somehow gets that first blood through. The dash in from Vera for the confirmation. Picks on the Kestrel. Teddy still filling in the feed with more kills. How did they do it? Not this way. OPY instantly strike back with a thrifty for the second round.
This is the beginning. This is how these rounds are supposed to go, Golden. Just a little scruff, just a bit of a gamble, and we find ourselves, nice run through the smoke and just piercing out, regardless, fearless are these pistols, right? Not worried about the clouds that come out from Astra. As long as we can triple swing out and get our shots, that's how we convert themselves. And we're going to be able to buy up an Outlaw as well, which is going to be a thorn in MTV's side, considering that they likely have no shields moving to round number 3.
Yeah, I mean, what a call for the stack. That is the playstyle of OPY, though. It's unconventional, yet they believe in their individual abilities. They let their individuals shine.
Spike planted.
They've got zoomers in those duelist positions, and INF saying, hey, he wants a bit of the action as well, but minimize. All right, kicking things off with a brilliant hit shot onto Miz. Spots out a couple more players coming through, and this is a little bit of a commitment from Motive in terms of the economy, and minimize. The IGL taking the round under his control. One by one, they'll walk in towards the site, and it's a deconstruction coming in from Motive. Not a single kill found just yet, and despite winning the Thrifty, they instantly lose the following round, so it's another Thrifty off the back of that. Motive, it's their turn to shine.
Golden, we're 3 rounds in! Golden, we are 3 rounds in.
Buckle in.
This is ridiculous. A second Thrifty, effectively, a second Thrifty in 3 rounds. And, I mean, the positioning and the awareness to know that, yeah, the Euro is probably around the back, and he's just sharp with those shots. That Marshall, what a clutch buy that comes out for those long-range fights onto B-Link. And not knowing where the Euro will be peaking is just their advantage as well. And so, stealing back, right, away that bonus is MTV. Now it's a bit of a scramble, you know, it's a bit of a rocky buy, at least for OPY.
Okay, indeed, but still, it's the opening pick given over to that OPY squad. They've lost one of the duelists in the mix, and it's one of the few maps that Motive actually run double duelists. So, very interesting approach coming in from them. We'll see if they have any uncomfortabilities in terms of the composition, but with that orb being picked up, INF has got a sneaking suspicion. It's headed over towards his side. Pirates will go for the first contact play, but unable to get that kill. INF dismisses out of harm's way, flying with a good trade there as they slowly hunker on in towards this side itself. But Teddy and INF, on a wide-range map like this, leaves flaring in the clutch. 1 versus 2, the wraparound from Miz, and OPY even things up yet again. It's a fast flank from Miz to get the second on the board.
It is indeed. I mean, yeah, getting that Hunter's Fury online wasn't quite enough to push this forward. They at least need to get on the site, but with the wraparounds from INF and Teddy, it was just everything basically on lock as a means of long-term distraction for Miz to really get that wraparound from the back. So great macro sense coming out from the OPY folks, and understanding that there's a bit of a vulnerability from the backside. Now, round number 5, it looks like for the first time we've got ourselves a bit of a full buy across the board here. Vera actually hopping onto an operator to take all this mid space for themselves, which so far OPY gladly to give up.
Yeah, but OPY have got a great positioning player in the form of INF. He's pushed down towards B. It gives him a lot of early info, and he's got the dismiss available as well, but it's Vera coming into a mid. It cuts apart this defensive side, but INF claws it back. That catches onto Zan. That's your smokes out of the equation, so difficult to scale up towards this B side.
Wrap around. Vera's looking at heaven. I'm not sure if the flick down will find Kestrel. Does peek the shoulder. And just has to cloudburst away. Kestrel's hunkering down for more, actually, looking to re-peek this. Vera goes in for the shot. Finds the noggin. And gets themselves that man advantage. A quick sprint onto A. Now we go.
Great mid-rounding coming in from Motive already. You can see them understanding that with INF's deep position, it's likely a lot of players on towards B. And with that pick found towards mid, it thins out the numbers. Only a single player here is the rookie of Pyrex. What can he muster here, tucked in towards the corner? The scan comes through, but he still managed to find the first, a second, while holding down the fire button. And Vera now popping the knives, trying to give his team a little bit of space. 2 versus 2 now. 1 bullet left in his magazine. As Teddy waits for his support player, INF to come around the corner, but Teddy, great crosshair placement, will snipe Vera out. Despite him having the longer range weapon, it's down to the IGL, Minimize. He's been in many clutch situations, and he's got to pull one off here again, 1v2. But the double swing from different distances works out in OPY's favor, and that's a third now on the board for them.
Wow, I mean, you talk about good communication in terms of swings, the understanding of where that final player might be. The double swing was done perfectly despite that difference in distance. And yeah, great stuff coming out from OPY to be able to just hold down the fort, you know, nice and easy, not overstaying their welcome, especially because Pyrex was just around the corner to be able to mow down. They're not over-rotating, especially because Breeze is so big, right? They have to hold their ground and hold their ground indeed. The triple stack on to B, especially with these red pings, might come in good here. INF looking to maybe be in the same aggressive position, gets the blind, has to back off.
Might accelerate off the back of this. Not a lot of defensive utility to stop this rush coming through, but it's just a gunfire available from the triple duelist. This chimes in with one more. If you don't have util, just use your goddamn weapons. Look at that, OPY. Stringing more rounds in a row, instantly shut down this B-side attack, not even letting them have access towards the site.
Yeah, you know what's better than 2 duelists? 3. Right, and so I'm obviously bringing the firepower. We were maybe wrong to question their decisions to start here on the defense, but perhaps the best defense is a great attack. And so Coach Spin now wanting to take an early timeout. Honestly, a good time now that OPY have strung 3 in a row to be able to bring themselves back into the momentum here and really start paving the way. And they're gonna have to try and figure out what to do next here on Breeze.
Yeah, it's a much needed timeout. I mean, you'd never think that you'd be down 2 rounds up against this kind of a composition, especially when they're starting on defense sides. But this was the story yesterday, right, Multitudes? This was how OPY were able to claw it back up against Unsigned 5. It's unconventional. It doesn't really make sense, but yet they hit their shots. They play the fundamentals right. Get the round win.
It's going to be a buy run as well for the side of Motive. I'm looking at RoSEA, right, run away from the dimensional drift. That could be a nice combo wombo with what Minimize has in store as the Russian archer. That's a very common strat here. So want to see them maybe fight for an orb. So far, mid presence is what's being pinged out, and with Pyrex holding that long angle, it allows a lot of people to take this mid space.
Yeah, and Teddy, again, opening kill onto Vera of all the players. Vera touted to be one of the best duelists.
Oh.
We'll try to claw one more kill back as Pyrex down towards A main, but Minimize not gonna let another kill slip by the wayside. Picks up an ultimate orb. Now we've got the dimensional drift. Scouting off for information. Hunter's Fury invested by Miz, understanding that when there's a Yoru up coming through, there's most likely a follow-up player. And a counter Hunter's Fury now comes through. Zen picks it up. INF though, hunkering down the sights. You put him on a Killjoy or a Reyna, he'll do the same job. And it's just left on to Minimize. Was noted due to the Hunter's Fury. Spike lost in enemy territory. This one, it's gonna be an unlikely situation.
I mean, honestly, the big brain from Miz to counter Hunter's Fury in the midst of this, all allowing INF to kind of weave through the chaos and find their nice 2k. And now Teddy will clean sweep up. Not the result that Coach Spin was hoping for, right? Especially with an early pick from Teddy in that mid space. They did get the operator out of Flamethrower's hands, pretty early on, but just couldn't sustain their push into this mid space, into this A space. Now having to, you know, do a hard save is the side of MTV. Not much of a different look from them so far. Just wanting to poke and prod INF with the Outlaw, the heaviest weapon that they have. Gonna just take this open space, but can't find the shots. Unfortunately, it's the Marshall that actually drops INF.
Yeah, it's another big opening kill, but it's being drawn back as well on the other side of the map. Mid is a big contention point for both of these teams, and it looks like they really just want to take the fights. I mean, you three duelists might as well go for these aggressive plays. Pyrex deep within enemy territory, using the drone to get him in towards that space. That is beautiful teamwork coming in from OPY. Flaring though, still keeping it within arm's reach. Another trade back towards that A side. Kestrel up on top of the boxes. Is that position gonna yield a successful kill? Spotted though, forced off that angle. Now comes the conversion. Kestrel stuck between a rock and a hard place. Drops the paranoia, trying to buy some space. Still gonna catch onto that player of Vera. Two more players within the site though.
30 seconds
And the frags
left.
just go in the favor of OPY again. Everything flowing like water for them.
Indeed, despite being down a person right off the rip, INF dropping in mid, I felt like MTV were a bit scattered, you know? Like, you're on a save round, no one's covering minimize from that drone in mid, and just allowing these easy 1v1s in that save round just meant more orbs for the side of OPY. Boasting it, right? Teddy's already on your second knives. We've got the Hunter's... No, not Hunter's Fury, sorry. The Dimensional Drift already online again, and we'll see how they want to play this on their buy round. MTV struggling a little bit here. 4 rounds down.
Good pick coming in from Pyrex there. That's a lovely opening kill again.
Zans found Kesto. Okay, the nice trade. Zans finding their marks here. Not perhaps expecting Pyrex to be just around this corner as well. Little hard for them. Now left in a 3v2 situation. Not on the right side of the map though, right? That Dimensional Drift, not Dimensional Drift, the gate crash was indeed used. And it's in free open site. Free real estate for the side of MTV. We'll get the plant down and hopefully be able to have some time to set up post-plant kind of setups here. Especially with the operator in hand of Vera just down that B long space.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be a save, I think, from OPY. If they can't find anything, they'll try. They'll give it their best shot. They love to play this kind of unconventional style. Pyrex first on towards this case. Is Motive gonna give them an inch? On the corner, Vera, a missed shot gives them that opportunity. Two players within the site itself. Zan has gotten off towards mid though. Quick positioning. Oh wait, it's not planted for them. It's not planted for Zan. Has to go for the gravity well to suck them off, but there's not gonna be enough space, not enough time though, and it's just around the corner. Miz. No, 1 second off. I thought there might have been enough.
It certainly was down to the wire, and it was almost MTV's to lose. They were pushed in a position where there were a lot of 1vx's, an opportunity for OPY to basically find their clicks, find their heads, and get themselves on board. And especially because, like you said, Miz, that spike not planted. Sorry, for Zan as well, has to wide swing to find Miz, and Miz was just sharper with it, just didn't have enough time. So by the skin of their teeth goes MTV, and able to put in a bit of recovery. Now, operator posted. I haven't really found a lot of value with this operator being posted here. Unfortunately, every time there's one,
Spike down A.
we'll have to dash out of there after finding Riza. Good start. Now let's see if these knives can hold back.
Nope, nothing to get with those knives. Trying to give him a little bit more options, but again, look at this proactiveness. INF instantly re-clearing that angle from the wall, but while all of that action was happening on A, look at the creep up from Vera in towards this B site. They've gotten a little bit of access. A foot in the door, but it's gotta wait for the rest of the team to come in to support. Unless Kestrel is gonna give his team a little bit of a fighting chance here. Reload comes through, minimize from the top rope. Just gonna slam him straight down towards the site. Viper's been invested as well. They know how important this round is. 3 versus 3 now. Motive with the ultimates in tow, they are looking to secure this round. Playing around the corner, Fleric almost gives up his life, but Still surviving within the pit, but Miz has crept around. They found a bit of a timing. 3 versus 2 now. OPY with that advantage. But now Flaring maximizes his opportunities within that small little cubby. But INF blindsides him. Zan again in a 1v3. 1v2 this time. Scan dart is great. Spots him out. Expects to jump up. INF with the close. And OPY again securing yet another round and a confirmed lead in this half, to say the least. 7-3.
That's a tough one, right? You get the cosmic divide, especially because Vera had already kind of pushed up into B with all the ruckus on A, able to slow creep up. The cosmic divide was just there to really hold down the fort, but Kess able to really peek out and get one, which makes it so hard for them to hold down the fort, especially after this Viper's Pit has been set up, right? It eventually became a prison for them. Not sure where the retake was going to come out and push them out of that Viper's Pit. So, unfortunately, not their round.
Shadows traveling.
In we go. I mean, Motive that lacking a little bit of that spice that we know them to have. And oh my god, again, on this, yeah, it's an eco round, but you know, the duelists are feasting multitudes. Every single opportunity they get, they will find Kestrel. Okay, it's a little bit ambitious. Running up the smoke there while Crossfire is being held by Motive. 3 versus 3 again. Coming down to the wire. A big flank being attempted from Pyrex. Got the Outlaw in hand. Is it going to be enough to take down Minimize though? Does he check? Does he do his due diligence? Yes, he shall, but the reload is a bit preemptive. Zan there with a fantastic trade to keep the numbers even. 2 versus 2. Spike. A little bit skewer, allows him to tap it a little bit, but not checking the close corner. Miz, big mistake, buddy. Teddy now left in a 1v2, has to come up clutch. But the thrifty round this time goes in Motive's favor. Triple kill to Flaring as well.
I think that was a 3v5 as well, right? The INF was actually holding down the fort into A, but playing together was honestly kind of their win streak here to be able to just, you know, protect their backside. Yes, Miz gets that first one on to Minimize, but Zan's there to trade, and then the final 2v1 is them coupling together and finding their marks. Looking at that scoreboard though, I think we'll have to ask for a lot more. Riz kind of looking a little lost in a 1-9 kind of KD right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they kind of stick to a single duelist composition. RoSEA struggling to find a bit of impact here. And the shock dart is beautiful. And that's just a fake. They try to draw the attention. Vera in towards main, and it's worked out. We called for RoSEA's impact. He's now found a double kill and set his team up for success. Minimize lays the bolts towards this B site. But still, Pyrex stands tall, full HP as well. INF now coming in towards mid. What's the call for Motive? Just waiting for that over-eagerness to strike for OPY. Pyrex giving his life up on a silver platter. INF now in a 1v3 clutch.
Smoke's down, but INF's on a bit of alert, bringing out their Sentinel in, tendencies to find the first, dismiss out Empress online, but doesn't realize, I think Minimize is just round the back here, just waits out these Leers, now understanding where one player is, hunting for the second.
How does he break this apart? 2 isolated 1v1s in a 180-degree angle. It's nigh impossible. He's got his Empress. That is something. But he's got to find an instant kill. And Flying won't even let him have that luxury of a 1v1 against Minimize. 5 rounds on the ball for Motive. They call things back at the very least. But still the lead for OPY.
Okay. I mean, not just out yet, 2-round deficit for MTV. They've been in this situation before on Corrode against Aura. That was actually the first map that you and I kind of casted when Split 1 started. But they were still able to dig deep and figure out a play to convert this map. And hey, considering this is actually, we've never seen OPY. They're on Breeze themselves. This has been their permaban. Running that triple duelist on defense hasn't been too bad for them. They've found their picks. They at times really pushed the pedal to the metal against MTV. Sometimes, more often than not, catching them off guard. And I think that's where their firepower comes from.
Yeah, it's that unconventional style, and I guess, not a lot of, no VODs available, right, for this team. yeah, there's not really much you can kind of anti-strat, I guess. Maybe you can kind of counter specific players and where they like to play, but in terms of the team structure, it's been changing day to day essentially. Miz coming in just yesterday, swaps over towards the initiator and map 3, takes over the calling, and smooth so far, 7-5. Pretty solid lead, all things considered. But it really comes down to how you finish, right? Multitude. It's not about how you start, but can you close these maps, these leads?
Yeah, indeed. And I'm looking once again at RoSEA, right? The ultimate closer for the side of MTV has been so good at all these 1vx's. Right now, sitting at a 3-10. We did call them out. They heard us through that fourth wall. We were able to pick up a nice 2k towards that tail end and convert for MTV, or at least help them convert. And so, wanting to see just a little bit more of that on the defensive side. I think that's where MTV might feel more comfortable in, to be honest, right? Double controller, double duelist means they can take their time, especially with a large map like Breeze, to maybe do a little push and pull against OPY.
But at the same time, you kind of favor the triple duelist on the attack side as well, right?
True.
A bit of damage done already. RoSEA's gonna find that opening kill. Again, you called for his impact and he's instantly found it on this defensive side. That opening kill on towards INF. Oh, but the flick around, that is lovely coming in from Pyrex. Minimize, still there. Being a nuisance. Wanna hold down the fort down towards Miz to creep in towards this B side. Miz aware of that mid position. Adjusts. Great movement. How does he connect onto Zan? No, he will not.
Down B. One enemy.
The flank is compromised. Flying with the close, it seems. But Teddy making things interesting. How does he find the kill onto Zan? And now is aware that Minimize was last spotted down towards mid. Picks up the spike. Dash in tow. Spots him out. A shot and a chance. The drop down from Minimize, but yet he still lands a shot. Shake of the head. Does not seem happy. And I guess not happy with his opponent there. Thinking that they have a chance up against the Chad of Oceania.
The Chad of Oceania, folks. You heard it here first. I mean, it's very impressive, right? I mean, look at this turnaround as well. A lot of intuition, finding shots through smokes. Bit of a scramble through mid. It looks like really mid has been a very strong play, at least for both teams on their attack and defense side, right? Wanting to make sure that they can control it. Extremities kind of given away, or at least they may want to post things up just to be able to hold down the fort and put even more resources into mid. And we'll continue to see fights around there. The double controllers might be interesting. We did see that first Viper wall that comes out from Pyrex, who unfortunately... No, sorry, Flaring, who unfortunately is sensing some technical issues right now. I'm not sure if you saw it in that round 13, but it actually cut across A and then into mid. So once again, it's that overemphasis on that mid space.
Yeah, it seems like mid is a big contest, a big area of competition, right, for both of these teams. Both of them very willing to take that fight down. And yeah, it seems like with the controller utility available on the motive side, they should be able to get that under their remit pretty easily. But it really depends on if OPY disrespect those utilities or not, right? Yeah, smokes are just a suggestion. Right, they're not a solid wall. You can still shoot through it. You can still walk through it. But yeah, it really comes down to the playstyle from OPY. And so far, it's looking pretty solid. INF, top of the scoreboard, 14-7. Leading by example.
Yeah, he can lurk, he can push, he can find his shots. INF has been an absolute superstar in the push up so far. Great lurk potential and able to have great sense of map rotations and that mid-round calling together with Miz honestly puts OPY in a very, very contentious position against Motive, right? Especially because Miz right up with INF. The newcomer 14-8-4 is that scoreline. And despite, you can't count them out at any point in time. They clawed back with the anti-eco and sure they lost the bonus, but it's been back and forth so far, and putting themselves in this lead is got to feel good.
Yeah, hopefully Flang is gonna get his issue sorted out. Seems like he's been missing for quite a while. But yeah, this map's it's been interesting so far. You think that Motive are going to be able to close it out. Or at least the second round. Let's talk about the second round because in the first half, there's 3 thrifties back to back to back. Is that going to be a consistent trend here to kick things off for the second half?
I don't. Honestly, with these teams, it's so hard to tell nowadays, right? Like, yesterday, during that best of 3, I think on Haven it was, we had 3 thrifties in 5 rounds. We just beat that with 3 thrifties in 3 rounds. And it's anyone's game at the moment. Looking at the way they play, MTV might turn the heat up, right? They've got the long-range weapons, they've got the firepower here. And OPI just, Bandit, Sheriff, and potentially some of these sharpshooters might put up a bit of a contest, but the gamble stack's not there, which means that anywhere you turn, MTV is gonna probably find success.
Alright, issue sorted. Players back in the server.
Take flight.
It's like a bit of a fake attempt coming in from Miz.
The double smoke's already utilized with the drone just to be able to maybe cause some distractions, but the firepower is not there, so the penny should have dropped. That's Flaring finding 2.
Yeah, that's a lovely cleanup coming in from the anchor towards this A site. Teddy will make it interesting, but interesting is all you're gonna get in this round. Miz making it pretty interesting. But anything more than this would be an incredible feat. Zan, keep him honest, 7-7. So no 50 shenanigans, at least for this round.
At least for, this round indeed. I mean, Zan looking so good, so solid so far. We talked about this controller being able to have such firepower despite providing smokes, and I think Astra is probably one of the biggest brain controllers we have so far, because you've got all these utility and we've seen them come into fruition during their defensive side. So I'm sorry, on their attack side, and I'm very excited to see how Zan plays together with the rest of the team here. An early smoke.
Big fight on the cards there. They
one.
put up the wall, instantly getting scared off. The triple duelers there, you don't want to give them an opportunity to get an advantage here on this execute. Rough weapons available, but still gotta make it work though. How does Flaring get the second kill with the molly? Picks up his opponent's weapon and now sets himself up for success there. Zan's smoke gives him some room to play around this corner. Drone invested the redeployment of the smoke again. It's gonna be tough. The drone trying to spot out where Flaring is. They're just gonna fire a couple of shots through. One of them hits. Down to just 1 HP essentially. But he's got back up here. Waiting for the swing coming through. Minimize chops one down. Kestro with the double. 1 versus 2 here. And the Minimize gets deleted. Kestro with the quad kill. It's not the duelist. It's the controller to do the damage.
They always come up when they need to. Kestrel to start things off, our first 4K here in the grand finals, the best of 5, but not without some pretty crazy shenanigans, right? That snakebite finding victim onto, I believe, INF, right? And bonus converted, at least for OPY, being able to group together, play it slow, and find their marks onto Motive. So we move into the meat and potatoes, Colden. Riza playing again with fire. The flash will come out. We'll have to counter flash, but holy, Flaring is there to gun them down.
Yeah, another opening kill given over for this defensive side. And look at all these smokes that are given even by the opponent that Flaring's gonna maximize its potential. But Miz, Sixth Sense through the smoke, gonna cut down Flaring. Tag with the drone onto Riza. But he's got backup. Every one of his team members here ready and prepared to take on these fights. But Kestrel, as sneaky bugger he is, finds a gap in the defense. Miz with one more. It's a supporting cast of OPY that are figuring out these mid rounds. Zan and Minimize left in this impossible situation. But Minimize chops down the head of Teddy. Looking for one more. 1 versus 3. First one's nice. A Pyrex there for immediate close. Motive. I'm gonna be able to stop this assault here on this A side from OPY.
Yeah, these attack rounds from the side of OPY, just young and scrappy are the overpowered youths, right? They just come in blazing, despite them, dropping that first casualty against against Zan, I believe. It was really them to push the mark and get all so far deep into A. We saw Miz being very gung-ho with it, right? Just feeling it, taking actually the leaderboard away from INF right now. To be able to push as the initiator, as the mid-round shot caller as well, that's a lot of responsibilities to have to deal with.
Yeah, it's not an easy task, especially coming in as a substitute player. And essentially starting out your IGL approach since yesterday. And right now, still in the lead, so still a decent amount of rounds that you can play around with, but Motive now taking this time out. They want to continue on this win streak, perhaps expecting a set play from OPY. They've got 2 ultimates available on this attacking side, and they themselves have this Viper Spit that they could use.
Yeah, actually a lot of ultimates on the brink of turning online, right? The Hunter's Fury from Minimize, the Cosmic Divide from Zan as well. Wouldn't be surprised if they try and fight for extremities, but hey, mid has been a big round of contention so far, although doesn't seem like the OPY players are moving. No, they're playing very defensive right after that timeout. They're waiting for some sort of bum rush perhaps from Motive. New look coming from OPY. Very calm, very collected, not wanting to be as scrappy as that last round.
I think both sides kind of expected some sort of aggression. So now we're in a little bit of a stalemate. It's been relatively fast-paced rounds so far, but OPY just put an immediate pause. Flaring, suspecting that could be a chance. I mean, you're up against this kind of a scrappy team. You can't throw away that possibility. But the instant smoke up. Oh, and the repositioning. That is lovely coming in from Flaring. Veteran play. That's the instant headshot.
And look at how fast they evacuate, right? They leave RoSEA on their lonesome. I don't think there's a gate crash either. So we'll have to really tough it out. With Labored, can't find their short, and Teddy opens things up onto A. It was almost a bit of a pump fake, but you see the spike really making its way down. Miz does the cutoff from B.
30 seconds left.
And the tides have turned quickly.
What a beautiful fake. They throw in the Yoru first on the A site.
There. One enemy
And
remaining.
you know, with Motive, with the lack of utility, they can't really get information. They think it is going to be a B-side commitment instead. So the forces come in strong. Miz with that double kill cuts down the numbers, but, you know, Minimize is going to be able to pick up a weapon. Can he win out the round, though? 1 versus 3. It's just a little bit of an eco. It would be loving to save the weapon, but INF's not going to give him that even a chance for a fight there down towards mid. 10-7. Off the back of the timeout, OPY already striking fast, and that's double digits.
It is indeed. First time we've actually seen a bit of a pause coming from OPY, right? Trying to really work the map, trying to find their picks, and Miz, sharp as ever, despite that not really being the gameplay, able to cut off those rotations quick and easy as they try and leave their entrenched locations in B. Now solid, right? 4 ultimates, 3 of them solidly impactful as well. That might be a bit of a snowball effect for the attackers. All stacked on this B site. All alone is Zan.
An instant Hunter's Fury getting sent out. Minimize answers with his own. And he's gonna be able to get that frag onto Kestrel. Zan capitalizes off that damage. 2 players on towards this side as 4 Motive siege on this retake. Dimensional Drift spots out where 1 is, but Teddy in the meanwhile gonna cut down numbers. Minimize gets eliminated from the equation. RoSEA coming in from the backlines now, the reposition. But Teddy on just a sliver of HP, gonna catch onto Vera's head, sneaking around the corner. And with barely anything to his name, he's still gonna make it work. Miz trying to figure out this puzzle, spots out the last 2 players. He's calling back Teddy to provide a little bit of assistance. Toying with them, playing with their food. And Teddy going for the around the world play by Flaring. His veteran senses tingling, aware of this potential. And as the clock ticks down even longer, his awareness will net them that advantage here in the clutch. 1 versus 2. And with the positioning of Teddy, they do assume that Miz might be headed towards that A side instead. Miz has gone through B. He's trying to find these players isolated, but there's so many corners to find. Footsteps being made, and RoSEA, again, the 2 veterans of this team, the experience under their belt, will not let this round slip.
It almost looked like these players were playing chess, right? Yes, a bit of a scramble, a bit of a scuff right off the rip. But when it came down to these final 2v2, it was who can outthink the other, who can try to play foresight, and perhaps it was Miz who overcooked just a little bit more. Because if Flaring RoSEA had already rotated off that B and laying a wait to ensnare them with a nice headshot. So, a bit of a climb back from MTV. Let's see if they can sustain here. Triple stack onto A, not where the push is. So, OPY going for a bit of a fast run, and the knives will find Zan.
Instant opening kill now. Teddy just taking it straight on towards the site. Full confidence, full-fledged, everyone here. Full force even. Motive? 4 players alive. How do they approach this one? They've got the Viper's Pit for a potential post-plant, but they've got to get into the site. That's the challenge. And with INF in this off-angle position, they aren't even considering that. Never mind, Pyrex gonna find that first contact first, so INF's position grows ever stronger. They've got to wait for the flank though. With the wall in their faces, the scan comes in, and INF finally makes his presence known. Teddy with the knives as well, catching onto Flaring's head. Vera's left, and an impossible 1v4. The paranoia comes in towards the smoke as well. 1v2, but the time is set down way too low. OPY, another super full force attempt here towards B, and it nets them an incredible win. That's 11 on the board.
It is. I mean, kudos to Vera for making it interesting at the end, but it's a little too late, right? They turned up the heat, they went back to their press W ways, and were able to overwhelm Zan pretty quickly. And from there on out, INF, right, playing snake in the grass, not overstepping, not wanting to show their cards too early, letting the rest of their team really play around the smokes that have been deployed around to prevent that retake from really coming into strong fruition. Great patience coming out from OPY.
And atop the scoreboard, I think Miz and Teddy both on 20 kills each. Top of the whole server. That's the kind of impact you want to see. Zan, very cheeky, takes back the smoke, catches Kestrel out of position. That's another opening frag, this time to the brains of Zan.
Double defense in nest as well. I've got the knives covering a potential push, right, from Pyrex. Just wanting to play slow, especially now in the 4v5. They have to kind of figure out if they can find picks. But Dimensional Drift online for now. Just wanting to spot out the C2 here, which means it limits the number of players that can be on any one particular site.
It's gonna be a fake towards this B side, right? He's made a lot of noise, teleports away. Miz can provide a little bit of initiator utility to fake it out, but they've got the spike planet all the way towards this A side. Frag has essentially left it open, allowed them for this post plant. INF now needing his assistance here with the Empress. He's gotta go huge. His teammates have all been chipped down low. Down to the Sentinel, former Sentinel, current duelist of this OPY squad. Protection down towards mid. Smoke on towards the dart. Motive with 5 players alive. They flood this A site, jumping straight through with the guise of the smoke and mirrors. And it's a flawless round coming in from them as they retake the A site with conviction.
I think it was telegraphed a little too easily, right? That Dimensional Drift was, yes, meant to distract and divert. You see Yoru peering into your soul on that B side, but with no other kind of action coming out from that B, the penny dropped fairly fast. As Teddy tried to make their play onto A, and the rotates from MTV coming in hot and heavy. And you can see the positioning, right? Like, they're really starting to find a little steam. It's still a 2-round game. OPY can still close this out without pushing it into relegation. But MTV are making it tricky for them.
It really comes down to what I feel like is the opening kills. Whoever wins those with the man advantage, it seems like it's a lot easier. And the weaker weapons here on towards this B side, Zan's gonna pop his smoke, live within it. The scan is fantastic. He wants to capitalize off of it, but he has to bring his own smoke. And yes, he will. Makes use of his own one-way. And it's Zan, the X factor for his team, lights up the B site and shuts down OPY.
Astra masterclass from Zan, right? The moment that offensive dart came out from Sova, immediately popping 2 smokes, a one-way to cover B elbow, one to hide away from the ping. Obviously, it is the likes of Minimize who provide that amazing dart at the back of B site to scan 3, and Zan just felt a calling within them to push the matter. We're back to a 1-round game, Golden.
Ooh, Motive, they're not gonna let go. Yes, they've faltered before, they've lost a couple of crucial rounds. But when it comes push to shove, you've got star players in their best position set up for success. Again, it's gonna be site. It's gonna be the B site. They want to test the man that stopped them in the previous. But RoSEA is here to provide assistance. No! Teddy cuts them all down. But Zan is still alive. He's still thriving in his sight. But INF gonna make things difficult for this Motive squad. Vera left in a 1v2. Pre-planned though. They still haven't got that down. They have no idea where he is. And likewise, Vera has no idea where the duelist could have crept up to. It's a duelist head off, basically. 1v2. Keeping around with the up in hand. It's difficult for this retake attempt. The flash through and the conversion from Pyrex. You can see it in the player cams. OPY, they're on match point.
Pyrex cannot stop laughing. Ecstatic to the end. This is not the beginning here that Motive were looking for, but they still have a chance here. I'll bet have to play to perfection. And look at this. OPY calling for a timeout. This is an interesting strat, right? Like, yeah, perhaps they're confident. Perhaps they want to bask in the glory a little bit. This is OPY wanting to stew. Maybe get into the heads of Motive a little bit. Let them overcook just a little bit more here on Breeze.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the strategies that OPY have been doing, it's nothing too crazy, right? They've gone for certain fakes here and there. But other than that, you know, it's just a full site commitment. They have the players in the right place. You can see he's still laughing. He still can't believe that they're on match point. This is an incredible haul from OPY. They just need that 1-round win, and they can reassess their options, right? You can see the ultimates that Motive have and how to counter them.
Yeah, there's a lot on the table. Miz actually one away from that Hunter's Fury, which means they can open up with that nice combo wombo. Dimensional Drift means it's basically an invulnerable recon dart, right? Miz can follow up on that. But to be fair, MTV's got a couple of their up their sleeves. RoSEA on the operator, one away from their Dimensional Drift. Cosmic Divide as well to maybe play a bit of a retake situation. But right off the rip, right? The right call to put a flaring pit to obscure 5 players. The question is, do they try and overwhelm them with some play here? Drone come out. Ooh, nice from the shadows to force Flaring out of position. And Flaring's just not aware.
Just like that, from the shadows, just instantly committed. You can see the conviction of OPY. No hesitation. Spike instantly planted. Flaring's out of the picture. They don't have his Viper utility. They have the Cosmic Divide available from Zan. That's the only thing they have, because their numbers are being thinned out by Kestrel. One by one, they'll sneak in towards the site. A late flank coming in from Pyrex down towards mid as well. But Vera has something to say. Kestrel with a triple, but so does Vera. Spike in their grasp. The blood coming through, and they are none the wiser. Vera and Zan, the dastardly duo, close it out for Motive despite them losing flag at the very first contact.
Zan's having an incredible Breeze game so far, right? Backs against the walls, they push back. Great Cosmic Divide to, doesn't quite cut things off, but provides the retake assurance that no one's behind these small crevices and really can pay attention to the right places at the right time. The double peek out to confuse and confound the attackers makes Zan and Vera that dynamic duo.
And Zan has already reached his maximum kill record in this playoffs run. 25 kills. This is the highest that he has got so far. He's about to shatter it if they win this round. He finds one more kill, but that's a big if. RoSEA's left alone here on this side with the up in tow. That is perfect for the job. Snipes up Teddy. Oh, but Flaring goes down. A great wraparound coming in from INF. Hunter's Fury invested by Miz, trying to find out where these rotating players are. Buys him a bit of space, but Minimize with a one tap to cut down the Yoru player of Pyrex. They're trying to find out where these players are situated. We've got a player in deep mid. That is INF, but he's been cut down from that equation already. Dimensional Drift is perfect to spot out where Miz is being hiding from. The Nova Pulse is perfect for the job. 1 versus 4. Kestrel, you're great, but you're not 1v4 great. Motive, close it out. They wrap around the site, and they take us to overtime.
Overtime on map 1. Colden. I mean, utility was done to perfection there from MTV. The dart reveals, the Nova Pulse, plus the combination with that dimensional drift. I mean, they had it all so far. It started off with that Yoru as well, just to be able to crack that attacking, or he stemmed the attacking pulse coming out from the side of OPY. We move into overtime. This is phenomenal gameplay from both. Interestingly enough, both Yorus opting to hop onto a glass cannon of a boomstick here, wanting to make a mark somehow. I'm excited.
Is the op the answer? In overtime, are you gonna expect it? The hands of Vera, I presume, so... Oh, not Vera, sorry. It's hands of Teddy. And oh, he's in there, a great spot. Marking it down. 3, 2, 1, the swing comes in. No, it's actually just the Vandal. Sorry, I think the op is on the A side, the hands of Pyrex, so... Not the opportunity just yet. Again, Motive really slow on their approach.
Yeah, waiting for some sort of bum rush to come out, right? OPY. Bit of a stalemate. This is more of MTB's round, right? They like to play things slow. They like to look for mistakes that can happen as a shoulder is spotted. Knows that the Viper tends to lurk.
Take flight.
Bit of a take back smoke there. Still very deep control by OPY down towards A. Allows 3 players to lean towards this B side. In Motive, they know mid's a weakness. Great peek coming through, but that's information as well via INF. Spike yet to be committed, but Vera's on the hunt. Got his dash at the ready. And he's sneaking around these little gaps in this defense. As the spike gets brought over back towards this B site. This will be the final commit with 30 seconds left on the clock. There's no other choice for Motive. 3 players of OPY stand tall on this B site. It's do or die. Barrel of the gun spotted, and Vera's the one who actually picked the first kill off down towards mid. Adjustment from Teddy! Triple kill found! The X Factor now for OPY! Striking fast, tap of the spike, up and above. There's the one to find that kill. Vera makes it interesting. Spike needs to get planted now. Cover from Vera allows Strang to get that down. Vera says, I can do you one better. 1 versus 2. The right click from Vera tears apart OPY.
Agentive if I've ever seen it. Whatever Teddy did, that was Vera's round. Knives out to celebrate as well. I mean, look at this, the lineup as well. Finding the operator out of action and just clicking heads. But not if Vera had anything to say about it. Didn't even know where the Omen was at that tail end. And just right clicks into the final controller's body. Done to perfection. MTV, for the first time here in Breeze, put themselves in the lead.
It was a scrappy first half, Multitudes. It looked dire for Motive. It looked like OPY had the right recipe for this meal. But Motive said, hang on. We've got multiple chefs in the kitchen. We all can cook something dastardly here. But Minimize, big mistake. Drops down with knife in hand. I have Neff. Peeks out of the smoke, instant dismiss after the kill onto Flaring. And things are getting interesting yet again. Man advantage for OPY. And a big flank being attempted by RoSEA. Can he find those kills necessary? With the op, he will. Cut down INF. 3 versus 3, make the 3v2. Motive. They're finding the groove. And Zan with the penultimate and the close. It's time to get motivated. Motive strike back fast. Instantly once we hit overtime. 2 rounds swiftly in their pocket. And map 1 under their belt.
It does not matter how you start. It matters how you finish. And that's Motive bringing their map pick under their belt. This was something that, was gonna catch us off guard. We've never seen OPY on this map before. And I think Motive were perhaps a little surprised at the fight of the triple duelists that OPY will bring to the table. But man, when push comes to shove, during that overtime rounds, they were able to put this away.
Man, what an exciting first map. I mean, OPY, bringing in the most unconventional agent composition we've seen so far in the playoffs. Going on a bit of a rampage, right? Winning a couple of rounds that, it seemed like they shouldn't have. But then Motive, they found the composure, they found the momentum. And yeah, they were able to close things out once they reached overtime, once they had a good read of the play style of OPY.
Indeed. Not to give OPY honestly put up a spectacular round, right? We actually saw a fair number of faces from them coming out, despite them having triple duelists. There were a couple of pump fakes here and there, but their execution on a site, given that it's Breeze, means that it's more than likely that the triple duelist on the attack side will be able to overwhelm them. Even on this defense side, they use that to their advantage, right? We saw a lot of aggressive duelist push outs to counteract an attack side from Motive, and I think they played that well, even ending that first half 7-5. But ultimately, it came down to certain hero plays at the tail end. I mean, Zan and Vera, just a couple of names to note from the Motive side.
Yeah, many highlights, and it's just the first map. Multitudes, we're in for a lot more action.
Indeed. Young and scrappy. This Breeze actually is quite interesting because it kind of showcased a bit of a different side, I think, from Motive, right? It also showed that they can play a little scrappy together with OPY. We expect that from the overpowered use, but despite them trying to drag down and play in the dirt, Motive can muck around in the mud as well. Look at the aggressiveness that these controllers slash semi pseudo duelists that Motive can play to be able to bring the heat against their opponents.
Yeah, incredible stuff from Motive. The composure. I mean, this is the expectation, right, of a team that has qualified to Ascension, a team that should be going the distance, right? That should be representing the very best of RoSEA. And they've displayed it yet again here today up against an unconventional team with very strong firepower. They're still able to navigate those rough seas, find those opening kills, find those clutch moments, and really close things out when, push comes to shove. You see Vera, relying on his individual mechanics. Sometimes you have to do so when you're a team such as this. Your players need to find that kind of momentum, and we did bring up his name in the pre-show. We did mention his head-to-head up against Teddy, and Zan claiming the very first MVP here of this best of 5. 280 ACS, 28 and 17. Incredible stuff from the Astra.
Yeah, besting his record previously on Pearl against OPY, the same team actually. So this is a bit of a run back for Zen, right? On Pearl against OPY previously was 24 kills, now besting new personal record, at least for Split 1, and I'm sure a lot more to come for the in-house controller, a clutch master to say the least. And it's very interesting. I want to dwell on Zen a little bit more as well, because a lot of the smokes that came out from the Astra was for themselves, which meant that the rest of the team can really hold fort and provide their own front despite wherever they are on the map. So Motive, well-oiled machine, deserving of this win.
Yeah, and we're going to go for a short little break, and when we come back, it's going to be map 2 of Bind. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss that one. It was a back and forth affair on Breeze, but Motive, you know, they grit their teeth, and they persevered through what can only be described as a triple duelist, chaotic circus from OPY. And we find ourselves in the second map of Bind. It's going to be OPY's map pick after dropping the first to Motive on towards Breeze, but it was still a close affair. So what can we expect for Bind Multitudes?
Well, Bind's been a strong map for OPY, right? Like, I'm not surprised that this is their first map pick in this best of 3, considering that they've, you know, closed out maps like 13-2 on Bind. Albeit they have lost once on this as well, but, you know, I think there's a lot of opportunity as the double duelist kind of composition that they bring to really abuse those teleporters and get ahead. The gimmick here is that there's no mid space, which means there's a lot of extremity play and a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I think OPY has it within themselves to provide that kind of magic against Motive.
You think so?
Well, my bet's on OPY, so I'm on a base, Colin. I'm on a base.
Okay. I will say Bind's a pretty solid pick for OPY. Right? We've seen them do a lot of damage on that map. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was up against Unsigned 5, right? That they were really, really strong on that map. So, yeah, it's... oh, sorry, not Unsigned 5. Wait, actually, they did lose to Unsigned 5 yesterday. Historically, they've been pretty solid, right? With wins throughout their run. But, yeah, when they faced Unsigned 5 yesterday, it was their first loss of the playoffs. But at the same time, that was without Miz being in that IGL initiator spot. So what can we expect here? Because it's going to be a different composition from what they last played. You know, Motive probably won't have, again, the perfect read in terms of how they're going to play. But perhaps they've taken a bit of tips from how Breeze went. Maybe they can formulate a little bit more of an adjustment in the game plan here.
Yeah, I think the thing about OPY that they have themselves at a disadvantage is that there's a lot of VOD reviews, right? There's a bit of perhaps fatigue. I'm not trying to cast a curse on anyone. I'm calling a spade a spade. You know, they did go through the full 5 brackets just yesterday, whereas Motive have had a bit of time to kind of maybe dispense some counter strats against OPY. So that's the edge that they certainly have over the overpowered youths. But I don't think, you can discount them off just yet, considering that on Breeze, that was, like, we kind of talked during the break, basically OPY's throwaway map. This was a map that they perma-banned on it, and they still brought it to overtime. And only at those last scrappy moments that Motive were able to put themselves back into the lead and close things out. So if anything, I have strong hopes for OPY to make this map pick their own and bring the fight straight to their Motive doorstep. And here we got the agent selects. I keep rambling. Let's talk about these.
Yeah, it's the same for Motive side. They did win out the last time against Unsigned 5, 13-7. But on the other side of things, we've got another very interesting pick coming through. INF going to be on a Clove on Bind. That's something we haven't really seen just yet. And Miz on the Fade as well. Last time he played this map yesterday was on the Yoru. Now he's switching over to the Initiator role, as you mentioned. So different changes in the compositions. Again, INF, I guess he's trying to play all of the least picked agents in this grand finals. He's on the track already. Reyna and now Clove. Gecko's next.
Yeah, it's a coin toss right now with OPY. You never quite know what you're gonna get. It's like, those like Pop Mart open thing. You just open it up and you'd be like, what's our lighting startup here today? Got ourselves INF on a Clove, right? Typically, on this would run a Cypher or a Chamber, which is what we typically expect, but maybe wanting to bring a bit more firepower will be this semi-duelist. Very ranked-esque, and that's how OPY like to play. Young and scrappy. So we want to see how they want to work this map with a nice 4-1 default so far. We'll force out the teleport from RoSEA. Meanwhile, the teleport's coming in hot and heavy.
Oh, it turns the attention away, but thankfully it just gets out of harm's way. Meanwhile, Minimize is caught on towards the lurk of Kestrel down towards B-Long. So, both extremities. Motive have found their pick. And RoSEA, what a lightning fast kill onto Teddy.
Remaining.
And Flangs continuing to dish out that damage. Damage done, but not the kill just yet. I wonder if Minimize has heals for them. Doesn't seem like it, but still in 1v4, it's extremely unlikely. INF set in the clutch. Teleport being taken by Vera, but he's being wrapped around already in towards U-Haul. Zed with the close. It's a beautiful round coming in for Motive.
Yeah, that one's a little tough. The remaining 3 players were actually really low and likely one-tapped by a Ghost, but it was Zan full health to meet them on a timing wrap in U-Haul. And especially because now it's Flaring's position, not Flaring, sorry, it's Kestrel's kind of slow lurk down B. I'll be interested to see how, the conditioning starts to happen for the side of OPY against Motive, right? They've spotted the slow push from the Viper along B. We have got the default Viper walls that do come out on A. I need that conditioning to really show its force on the attack side of the overpowered youths.
Yeah, the last time INF was the one on the lurks as that Cypher. But now that he's on Clove, he gives himself a lot more firepower. Albeit, your flanks are going to be a little bit more open, more vulnerable. But he can kind of take turns with Kestrel, right? In terms of being that lurk. Even if INF goes down, he can still use the smokes post-mortem. And we'll see how Kestrel performs, right? He was previously on Brim. Now on the Viper, a lot more of a passive role, I would say. Let's see what they have in store for us this time. OPY, just a little bit of an eco round. They're gonna send most of their forces in towards the short position. RoSEA reclaims this angle with the Outlaw, but A short is the port of call for OPY. Minimize above the smoke. It's gonna have a field day just picking off targets. RoSEA gets a collateral shot. And Pyrex only won as a bit of a consolation prize. Motive keeps things nice and clean. They keep most of the weapons as well.
Not too... I mean, nice and easy, right? Not too much you could really hope for there, especially because... honestly, that Viper wall coming out from Kes, a little interesting. Couldn't really explode onto the side or get that U-Haul control, so just has to face the music to Outlaws, to Guardians, to Boot. From the side of Motive, they clean up shop and claim their orbs. Now that, default Viper wall is up as well, and the gamble stack from Motive's not going to pay off. They've put that fast pace, sent that Waylay double dash down Fountain, and now actually so much information has been transferred over to the defense.
Alright, that's a lot of information for Motive. Might as well do it on your bonus round, if anything. Pins it in, Kestrel's being spotted, not before he takes one to the grave. But that's info though, and what a trade frag coming in from Pyrex, all the way down in their spawn. And that's gonna cut down the numbers on towards that B side. It forces Minimize to rotate back over.
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? Your trademark doesn't work anymore, so you have to split up in this 2-1. And regardless, it's at least a 2-to-1 ratio for whichever side they want to push. They send a dog to maybe fake a bit more presence outside of Hookah, but I think, yeah, the counter hunt obviously doesn't smoke anyone. It's a bit of a chicken and who will chicken out first, Colton?
Well, Miz is trying his best to pull a rotation over towards the B side. He used both of his prowlers, but Minimize telling his team, hey, I'm good on B, hunker down towards A. And it's the right call. Flaring spots out a bunch of players, but Zan's compromise as the judge gets scanned out as well, but the judge is still a bit of a silent factor. But now Teddy in the close range angle will fall victim to said judge. Jumping Zan as always. The duelist in him can't help but to go for a couple of cheeky shots. Playing with a blinder of one.
Last player standing.
Damage done onto Minimize, leaves him in a rough 1v2. And Miz, the IGL, calling his team to success here, comes in for the final 2 kills as well from Showers. And OPY, they brave the bonus. They win their first round.
Yeah, if you're Motive, you gotta be pseudo okay with that, right? Getting 3 rifles out of the hand, keeping OPY's kind of economy in check here. Couple of light shields and a regen for INF. Just able to brave the front here. Rizza, round number 4, already on that long sight line to hold down A short, it seems, with the operator with the boomstick.
And boom goes the stick. Riza lands it straight onto Kestrel. And that's your Viper utility instantly out of the round.
That's a tough one as well because, now you have to rely on Clove being able to take their minds off duelists and put themselves into the smokes. But Dimensional Drift now being prepped for a bit of explosiveness.
I'll handle this. Time to jump.
And in towards the side we go. Pyrex first on the cards. He's gonna spot out all these players' positions, picking them out, trying to get the kill, and INF does so, but Minimize. Gonna minimize that damage. Very important trade frag coming through, but Vera's far from the action. They've got to wait for him as the spike goes down. Post plan. What's your protocols? Not a lot of post plan utility. You've got double duelists in the mix. You gotta take these fights, thin out the numbers before they converge upon you. The stun is great onto Teddy. Keeps him stuck in this position for a while more. Satchel out of there. Oh, and the dash on Vera swiftly capitalizes off of that contact. Triple kill from the duelist. And that's a 3rd round for Motive.
I've never been more afraid of Waylays. I thought Neons were my kryptonite. I'm pretty sure it's Waylays now. The way this new agent is being played, with the hinders and just the crosshair off placements, it is ridiculous to say the least. And especially with Vera being an absolute fragster here, right? Leading the team in so many first kills, first deaths, able to get in and either get there one or die, and someone's right there to get the trade. So very important to get space for that retake on Motive side.
Great protocols. You can see Motive this time not gonna get caught off guard by OPY's shenanigans here on the second map. Ooh, Pyrex though says, hey, I'm a pretty damn good duelist as well. Gonna cut down Vera as Minimize and Zen not gonna double up with a kill of their own. So, despite them losing that first pick, it's too quickly answered back against OPY.
Yeah, OPY's save round though. I think a Guardian, in Parex's hands just to make it a bit more interesting. But Miz, one away from this Nightfall. I'd be interested to see them perhaps take this. No, not just yet. Feeding that Dimensional Drift instead. Teleport use. Oh my gosh, wait. The flank from RoSEA.
Oh, and then none the wiser, taking his time. But he's still gonna find his mark. Lovely shots on RoSEA. Adjusts for the second as well. Expects the look coming in through the A site. And it's gonna be a tough one for Kestrel as the whole squad is here.
30 seconds.
He's gonna have to land some incredible shots, and it's not to be the case. Motive, a little bit of casualties, but other than that, it's another solid round from them.
Very clean, very systematic, like we expect from Motive, right? We've seen them on this bind before, using their double controllers to really work the map, understanding the push and pull, right? They lost that first player outside of B long, so what do? They push out from showers with an operator there less, and get all this space, and a nice backstab from RoSEA puts them top of that scoreboard as well.
Double up in the hands of Motive. Vera's got his own. RoSEA's got his ultimate instead on the other side of the map. And oh, we didn't see it, but Vera gets the kill with the classic instead of the off. He didn't even fire a shot of the off. I guess he doesn't need it. Classic's more than enough. Difficult shot to hit there. Oh, recalls back into a dangerous spot. Goes in for a second peek. Vera, you're learning from OPY. Thankfully, Zan's gonna minimize that kind of damage as Miz sneaks in through the smoke. It's down to a 2 versus 4. INF, what a flick around. He's back from the dead. Gonna give it his damn best shot. Another one to minimize. Quad kill now found for INF. Looking for the ace, and he'll find it. INF, an infiltrator on that ace site. Death defying an ace found for him to give OPY another life in this map.
2v5 situation it was, and INF find their marks with a second lease of life. Crispy with these headshots. What looked like a done deal from Motive is now an extra point for OPY. It doesn't quite break the economy yet, but it's a step in the right direction. So it's critical that OPY continue their escapade. They've got Nightfall in hand as well. Setting their sights on A means perhaps they can pinch this around.
Ooh, send out by the Trailblazer. No commitment off the back of that to find that opening kill. Alright, so be happy for that.
Want to re-explore. I wonder if Motive are gonna perhaps send a dog to clear showers. I see the pings coming out. Wanted to make sure that they understand a bit more information as the attackers set their sights to the second letter of the alphabet. Trademark will be there early as well to indicate, but even before that, minimizes on a bit of a run. So with showers cleared, I think the penny should have dropped for the defensive side. It's just a matter of these picks just outside of A short.
Yeah, the thing is, the B side players haven't seen any contact at all. We've got the op down towards B long. And the trademark's there towards B short. And oh, it's an interesting commitment of the ultimate. Thinking that it's gonna be A short instead. They find the lurk. And now RoSEA put on a great angle. No, misses the shot though. And oh no, OPY have found the double entries in towards this B site. But Vera, very fast for this rotate. Takes the TP in the cross. Has to wait for the rest of his teammates to come in though. RoSEA. Oh no, an opportunity squandered away. Teddy, wow, blind of a shot. Pops RoSEA's head through the wall. And space control now, elbow compromised. Flaring none the wiser. This INF finds that first contact now. Spotted now towards that elbow. Spike not planted at all for these post-plant positions. Showstopper invested, gets sent out, baited out, but Teddy still finds the kill and looks for the last as well. The Terminator Teddy is here to wreak havoc.
An ace followed by a 4K for the side of OPY. Back-to-back rounds to show a bit of dominance from this play. I mean, the read was right from Motive, right? They kind of knew that it was going to be that B hit, especially with the investment of the convergence path from Vera down into A, plus the flash to clear from minimize to clear showers. A lot of information there, but you know, with the layers of defense not quite set up from B, they couldn't find it within them to hold things back. So back to the winning ways for OPY, and maybe back onto the same site that they got themselves into here with the outlaw in hand to maybe make a showing.
Silent walk up. Hit the octagon angle as well. They're calling all their forces here. The same can be said on the defense. 4 players of MTV stack this B side. What is this read coming in from them? The Trailblazer gets spotted out. Not the conversion though, and the flash bid back in, minimize, taking matters into his own hands. Double kill found just by his lonesome. Pops a flash and gets out scot-free. Even a weapon to boot. That is dastardly coming in from the IGL. Kestrel spotted. Stun comes in. Classic does the work. Zen instead actually gotta find that kill. And things are just falling apart from OPY. Motive, the lesser weapons, but with the better plays, better shots. Now leave Miz at 1v4, an impossible situation. All his exits have been marked for. Has to tap this spike plant. Goes for the kills instead. And oh my lord, 5 HP away. But still, the thrifty round found by Motive. Minimize, making maximum value.
5 HP left as well. That's how tight that final round got. And despite, you know, like exactly a thrifty, it was just bandits and sheriffs to their name, but with a beautiful flash to start things off. 3 bullets, 2 headshots from Minimize will just turn the tides from Motive with that nice gamble stack from B. And Miz really tried their best, but it's just too much to bear with a couple of angles not covered.
Ooh. Scrappy. Still a round win. Thought we would have been tied up if OPY won that, but small mistakes will leave with devastating consequences. Valorant doesn't need to see at all. He will feast upon his victims. One by one, they walk in towards his jaws. And the last 2 players again coming in from that same angle. Flaring, looking for the last. Ina will chop him down at the final bit, but not before Minimizers comes around on the flank. 6 rounds to 3. Motive now in full control.
It's been aces and 4Ks to boot. Flaring now up on the podium. Nice mow down with the Phantom. Even the blind onto the counter pick Viper. And yes, INF gets 1 for their troubles, but that's, you know, honestly not what I'm quite feeling about this aggressive wall as well. It just lends too much of a defensive factor for the person playing in U-Haul, and that round spoke volumes. A new look now. Bit of a fast press from OPY. Their usual scrappy, young and hungry moves to identify a couple players on this side, but RoSEA holds things down.
Face your fear!
Just like that, it's an opening kill given over, but Teddy coming in from long. Judge out of the smoke. That is crazy work coming in from the duelists. But it's 3v3. Still a chance as the spike goes down. Vera now spamming through the wall. Will find the headshot onto Teddy. But still the spike goes down nonetheless. 2 versus 3. A wraparound from Minimize playing the long con. He wants to win this out securely. His teammates holding fast. Not giving an opportunity away. And now Minimize makes his presence known. The flash in for the fight, but Miz gets out of harm's way. Double flash misses, Miz swings back in, but Minimize predicts it. INF also left now in an impossible situation. He's back from the dead, but this one's impossible. Motive, despite OPY essentially having 6 lives, and still walk away with 2.
Oh, that's a tough one. That choice to pop the not dead yet, perhaps they were not expecting to know where Flaring was, having shown and reviewed their cards very late. But alas, was right there as well. I know Flaring was the one who took them down, so that choice for the not dead yet a little questionable. But in the heat of the moment, you know, maybe perhaps you can think you can take them all.
He did it before.
He did. Indeed.
So,
now, hey, look, default
yeah.
Viper wall coming out. This is what I'm looking for, right? Perhaps trying to go back to the tried and true tested ways. We've got a bit of a 1-4 split across this map now. I still set on A. This fight in showers is crucial, though.
Oh my lord. Okay. Break the trip. And here the footsteps running. So, Motive, have an inkling it's gonna be this A side. Counter Molly.
Trying to hold down the fort. Oh, beautiful. Molly and Vera, that Sixth Sense, finding their marks now into this off position as well. Cabbages out just to be able to identify the last 3 players of OPY. This is positions given up 100%.
Yeah, pin has dropped. I mean, there's no reason for Motive to even call for a stack, right? They've got 3 players hunkering down on A. Basically, not a tick of damage has been done. OPY looks like the steam has already kind of run out. They haven't gotten access towards this side. It's a refresh of the smoke. But oh, look at this. Pyrex, the kill on towards heaven. The selfless leader jumps straight in first. With the numbers advantage, Motive look to hold fast yet again. INF in another massively disadvantageous clutch potential attempt. And his exit is even being watched for. You've got Zan on the other side of the teleporter. And they're not even gonna give him the luxury of a fight. Look at them, playing safe in their spawn.
I mean, very disciplined from MTV, right? They have the firepower. You know they have the tech skills and the mechanical sharpness, but they'd rather just respect INF, wait for that plant to come down, and regroup as a threesome onto OPY.
It's a chance, it's an opportunity, but it's slowly dwindling away as Zan comes in from the close from that flank. INF has also invested his last smoke. And Zan is just gonna do it by himself. Doesn't even need the assistance of his teammates with the weapons. He'll pick it up with the Sheriff. And that's 8 rounds to Motive's favor.
And Motive starting to really steamball here towards the end of the first half. 8-3 goes that score line, and you hope it's not 9-3. At least if you're OPY. I don't know if you want to call it a tactical throw. People don't believe in that, right? People don't believe in that, right?
I think we're past the age of superstitions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At least in terms of the scoreline.
So 8-3 right now. Last round. No full shields for the attacker sides. Just 1 regen and 3 light shields, which makes this a bit of a painful move. They'll have to move together as a unit. Vera's trying to get all this information. The flash unfortunately catches them as well.
Oh, and the recommitment, the re-swing from Vera, and the ultimate orbital strike just fries them alive out of the frying pan and into the fire. They have no HP to walk around with. Pyrex is just limping on a sliver of HP, and Vera still has more utility. Oh, and a slam to the wall. They're just doing them dirty. Motive playing with full confidence now. And again, time and time again, INF left in impossible situations. Vera picks up a triple without even leaving his spot. And that's that 9-3 scoreline. Motive, they are just charging forward and not caring on who they trample over.
It is indeed. You know, Binds actually what you might consider a bit more of the defensive-sided map, I believe. But this is a little strong, you know, 9-3, especially on OPY's map pick. They were hoping to perhaps put up a bit of a better attacking half for the overpowered youths. But it's just Vera and the Flaring show time and time, right? Vera just making quick work on those retakes, and Flaring just hunkering down on that U-Haul position, not wanting to give any space, playing around the opposition's Viper's wall, right? Using that to the advantage, plus, well, some very well-placed snake bites prohibits the fast exec that comes out from OPY. And that's, I think, the power of MTV so far, able to have good reads and good utility from themselves.
Yeah, it's fantastic work coming in from Motive. You could see that the game plan is really stalwart. And they're not deviating too far from it. They're playing their own game. They understand the win conditions of OPY, which is to get those scrappy rounds, make things interesting in the mid rounds, and then win it out due to gunpower, the firepower. But Motive aren't even giving them that luxury. They're taking things slow, they're taking things methodical. And OPY just aren't able to break that kind of a slow-paced approach.
On the flip though, now Pyrex on that Yoru defense side means, hopefully you can play around a little bit more with positioning, with trying to, help with the rotates nice and early. And that allows for the double duelist to do exactly what you see right now, right? Kind of take an aggressive stance, take some extremity space, and when there's no one there, leave someone posted, gate crash away. We're more than likely going to see a lot more of that from OPY. That's not where, the action's happening. It's a quick one. Whoa, okay. Vera already deep in enemy territory. But okay,
That
look
same can be said for OPY. There's a fast flank coming in from both sides. The Viper's down, pushed from Hookah. You've got Teddy now flanking them from showers. Backs are turned. This look finds its mark first, but Flaring still one alive there to find that trade frag to even up the numbers. Double kill found, but INF, the second layer of defense now comes in. Kestrel now makes his presence known, looking in towards the flank from Hookah and Miz with the close. This is a dynamic round from both squads, and somehow OPY come out on top.
They do indeed. They took the faster initiative, and the flank on flank finds them in their favor and gives them the pistol. I think the first pistol that we've had so far going the OPY's way. You might have to fact check me on that, but regardless, you've got to be happy if you're OPY to be able to get a bit more momentum on your defense side, right? With a little proactivity coming your way.
Ooh. And a lot of proactivity might come their way right now. Right here, it's Vera with the Bucky double. INF, 2 of his own, but Teddy's still alive and kicking. Here's the drop though. One-way smoke popped up, isolates the fight onto Zan. Puts Flaring in a rough spot. How has the tables turned like this? Instantly falling in the favor of OPY again. That's more like it though. 2 rounds in a row now, they keep things close. There's another conversion after the pistol.
And with the number of kills that Teddy has brought up in the first 2 rounds here in the second half, already 2 away from the showstopper, so a lot of momentum can be garnered here. I mean, the scoreline, yes, 4 rounds away, but if things start snowballing for the side of OPY like we've seen them do in the past, Motive are in for another strong fight. I would say that the proactiveness from OPY is really to push out, right? And if MTV don't try to do a bit of default, exactly what they're doing now in their bonus, they may be caught off guard. You need to perhaps do this 5-point stack across the board. Oh, Kestrel finds their counter early. So does Pyrex, and that puts Motive in a terrible spot.
Okay, Kai, what is happening? Kestrel found the first opening kill. It's DB long. He just pushed out by himself, takes the teleporter, finds another kill outside of showers. This is individual brilliance on full display. That's exactly how they want to play. But if you want to play by those rules, you best be ready for the counter of minimize. Pyrex still keeping hold of this site. Tap of the spike Zan in a 1v2 up against Miz and Pyrex. Incredibly strong mechanical players, but Zen is too. Understands that the rotation is most likely there, drops in a deep smoke and the molly to allow him to get that spike plant. And how does he work out this one? Sees misses. Miz just runs straight out in the molly. You isolate those duels, but Pyrex on the same page as his teammate. That is just mental stuff running through one of the most damaging mollies in the game. Understanding that that is a small sliver of a chance to catch San off guard.
Ready for the trade. I mean, Pyrex, same thing. Fire within their veins. First one to start things off. And Kestrel also, right, ballsy with it to take the teleporter. Minimize does their utmost best to really hold down the fort, but there is that Yoru ready to really push the fires, push the flames, endear that molly, and get the dub for themselves. Is the bonus broken against Motive, right? Now OPY finding steam for themselves to make it interesting. They're not wanting the new look, right? Pushing out from B, taking all this early space. Trademark is just around the corner. If they can get rid of that, that will instill a lot of worry for them
Broken
He's
it.
against Motive.
Be wary about the flank now, but still, they're gonna move ahead with plan A. The assault towards this A side is successful for the time being. Oh, but Pyrex meanwhile gonna line up a double kill. Minimize. He's left alone. His teammates have evaporated. It's a flawless hold of this A side. Not even a chance for Motive to get working. And RoSEA, I mean, the whole squad's coming after him. It's a flawless one from OPY. That is 4 rounds in a row to kick off the second half.
Pyrex, the brains of that operation, right? Pushed out double basically as duos out of B to get rid of the trademark, then immediately gate crashed into A, knowing that Motive are likely going to use that trademark destruction as a go to push into A. Read them like an absolute open book. Now closing the gap. Closer, ever so closer. Motive haven't got a single round the second half.
No, and again, you can see the very proactive nature of OPY. They're always willing to take fights, even if it seems like it's a 50-50, or even when they're at a disadvantage, when it doesn't seem likely. They just huddle up together as, 2 players or 3, take the fights as a team. And most of the time, they're gonna win it out. They're just gonna rely and back their aim. Oh, Motive gonna back their strats instead. It's a slow paced approach again to gain control over B long and the orb. And Vera's one off his ult. Are they gonna go back and get the other one?
That might be the idea here. They've left RoSEA posted to make sure they don't get pushed.
Look
Like
at this bit
OPY
on
has
aggression
done
multi.
time and time.
I've got
Yes,
your trail.
that's wild. Kestrel, oh my gosh, almost knives out, catches the shoulder. Vera, ready for it?
Aware. Go back and swing together as a team. Kestrel still somehow gets a single kill out of that mix, but the pin has dropped. I think Motive, aware that that deep push means that B side is likely to be
seconds
weakly
left.
contested for. INF is around the corner. INF finally gets that kill. But meanwhile, the B side is the main issue. Jumping straight out of the smoke. Double kill. And now it's a 2 versus 2. But look at where this race has gotten off to. Right around the corner is Teddy. He's been firing on all cylinders. But Flaring is gonna best him in this head-to-head. 4 kills found, looking for the ace. The Viper slithering in the grass. INF's got a smoke to work around with missed shot. An opportunity now. It's gonna rely on Flaring's position. Where is he? Someone has to jump in. INF, is he gonna pull off the 1v2 clutch?
Please don't blow
It's
up.
either that or the ace for Flaring. There's not much time left on the smoke as it fades. So does the hopes of Motive. INF, what is this man? So good. Why is he so good on this B side in clutches?
Absolutely feeling it, right? From one side of the map to the other, able to hold down this 1v2 clutch situation. I honestly almost thought that they weren't gonna let go of that number 4. Just push all the way, because pros don't fake. But, once that cloud dissipated, that wide swing, catching, Flaring, top leader of MTV right now, off guard. It was anyone's game, but it ended up going the way of OPY, back to a 1-round game.
What a resurgence. This has been 5 rounds in a row, and look at the money of Motive. They've got nothing. Well, I say that as RoSEA just instantly gets that opening kill onto INF on that on angle. And yeah, he's not dead yet, but he will be soon, because Motive are not giving him an opportunity to find a kill to stay alive. He'll just have to fall victim to that initial fight, and at least drops the gun in relatively safe position.
So that's interesting as well, because now smokes are purely reliant on the Viper that technically is deployed on that B side, but the fact that INF actually dropped close to that B might be interesting. Coverage doesn't quite capture all of U-Haul, but regardless, MTV sense a bit of weakness. Regardless, in A, knows that there's maximum 2 players here likely. Full press ahead. The bait.
Oh, tap of the spike! The showstopper doesn't get anyone! Running through the smoke, thank God for Pyrex to catch up to RoSEA. But still, the spike yet to get planted. The ult was great. Kestrel's there marking it. He's got it up in head, but he's getting swarmed on. They're all running towards him. Pyrex just jumps out, tries to bail out Kestrel, buying him a little bit more time. Kestrel lands a headshot onto Vera. One more required. Kestrel, a demon in the sight. They can't find him. They can't kill him. OPY, they've tied it back up again.
6 rounds in a row. Press the timeout button. That's Coach Spin saying, yo, we need to talk. You can't let them get away with this. Right, bonus, pistol, anti-eco bonus, and then 3 more rounds after that. After what should have been a conversion onto a single Kestrel, holding the line with an operator wasn't enough for them to hold down the fort.
How does Kestrel get away with a triple kill as a Viper with an AWP? He was marking the teleporter. 3 players just popped out of it and he got all 3. Buying enough time for the rest of his teammates to come in. That is insane stuff from him. It shouldn't work.
It shouldn't. It
And he
really
has been
shouldn't.
doing the same thing throughout this map, right? He's been pushing down very aggressive lines as a Viper who's supposed to play passive. And he's saying, hey, I'm about to rewrite the whole strat book on how you play Viper.
I think that's the thing about MTV on this map, you know, their attack side, perhaps a little too telegraphed, perhaps a little too formal, you know, it's always the same thing, and OPY, they run wild, they have an idea in their head and they just do it. Listen to your inner demons, say OPY, push and re-clear the space, dry peek, gamble a little bit, because MTV aren't doing that, they're playing it a little bit too safe. Which means that, you know, the reads on the attack side here are a little too easy.
Too easy, you say? Well, this round, Motive wants to take the fight straight on towards OPY, back of the A site. Lions want to find that first contact. The double swing is lovely coming in from them. Vera with an answer. Pyrex goes down with just the one. And after that timeout, instantly Motive full on execute towards a no hesitation whatsoever. Now Kestrel, you know, that weapon that he was so successful with in the previous, now left in a rough retake, unlikely, and might even need to opt for that save.
Yeah, this is a great opening. Ooh, you know what?
He still
doesn't
goes,
even
right?
matter.
Okay.
They're all barons right now for OPY. They can buy operators for a while, but hey, if you're Coach Spin, gotta be a little happy with that, right? Coming straight up, coming from a timeout, giving them clear instructions on how to change things up, taking probably a leaf out of OPY's book to press the issue, you know, the slow creep up, full contacts, and then the explosiveness followed, preceding an orbital strike to really throw things up. So now I think we've got ourselves a bit of an interesting game, right? MTV maybe finding their stride a little bit more, but OPY once again mixing things up.
TV being taken just to feign a bit of noise. INF again. Someone always being super aggressive, but this time again it's a double swing coming in from Motive. And while Teddy finds the first, it's an instant trade as well. Things are getting a lot tighter on Motive's side, making sure that OPY do not get away with man advantages. Break off the Trailblazer, and yeah, Pyrex in a world of hurt there. Stuck in the corner, but miss. Gonna swing off that contact, off the flash. Vice team, just a little bit more of a respite. Molly comes back in, back of sight. Miz still alive. He's standing right in the open. That is ballsing from him. And that buys enough space for Pyrex to find more frags. Flaring understands the last one is here in this corner, but Pyrex is unmovable. Stands tall and leaves his team in an advantageous situation. 2 versus 1. Flaring. 68 hit HP points left to his name and 35 seconds on the clock. Spike in enemy territory. How does he make this one work?
5 bullets as well. Wondering if they want to just walk away to reload so that sound cues don't provide that additional information, but it's not a lot of time to be holding. It is Pyrex on that low, so it might be interesting to perhaps find an opening pick, but time's not on your side.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, this one's a done deal. OPY will find him out in the open. 10-10 multitudes. We're all tied up. Both teams reach double digits after a 9-3 half. OPY have come straight back and they look deadlier than ever.
I guess some people do believe in Curse after all. It looked pretty good for Motive pretty early on, right? Getting some nice trades, keeping it interesting, but it devolved into a lot of 1v1s towards the end, and that's where I think some of the the sharpness from OPY, their momentum coming off their Dark Horse run really shines from themselves.
You want to play? Let's play.
My ult is ready.
Ooh, Tour de Force invested, but not gonna catch the player that picked up that ult orb. Kestrel, as always, playing incredibly aggressive as the Viper just dips out of harm's way. Bye-bye, I'm headed back over towards that A side and essentially clears out showers as well. The recommitment could be here. Nightfall hits all 4 players. Miz, incredible value with that ult. Drops in a scan to just find out where these players are. They're all tagged up. But he has to wait for the rest of the teammates to come in. Pyrex there with the flood. Teddy answering back as well. They flood in towards the side. The pre-take is successful. Minimize, caught off guard, head in hands. OPY with the lead.
Beautifully done. Once again, it's Kestrel, it's INF, it's all these players that take these off angled positions, right? To be able to get there first. Outside of B long, and then Miz holding down the fort, having all this information, not overcommitting, which means that they're always going to be a threat towards Motive when the retake from OPY comes back into play. These overpowered youths are absolutely fragging out right now, and that's causing a little worry. Like you called it, Minimize kind of wiped his face a little bit, stress burrowed in his forehead as he tries to figure out, together with Coach Spin, what to do next.
Man, I don't know what I mean. If you're Spin, you're faced up against such an unconventional playstyle. The Viper's playing in that cubby towards the B teleporter, gets a kill, just dips out. There's no insurance policy. No one's outside of showers to help him get out of there. But still, that ballsiness, the gall in some of these overpowered youths, living up to their name. They're just taking it straight onto Motive. Pyrex, a rookie player. I don't think he's ever been playing in a grand finals of this caliber before. His first time, he's dropping 21 kills up against the strongest team of the region.
Save round as well for Motive, right? Which means that they're more than likely against a match point here. A couple of them do have one away from their ultimates, so this might be a good chance to get at least some kills racking up for themselves.
Now they know it's only just Vera. It's just a fake. The Motive are not fast enough. The players are back into the B site. Miz is here. They've taken the teleporter. They've got information that minimizes outside of it, but it's only just Miz. The IGL has got to come up with an incredible amount of kills to survive here in this corner, and he's good for nothing. No kills whatsoever in this round. Motive, they flip the script, and with a weak-ass buy, they're gonna make it work. The pit in front of the CT spawn. But Kestrel, of course it's Kestrel. He's brave himself through the smoke and mirrors, but minimized with a run and gun. Sheriff shot. Pyrex still making things work. INF now down to the 1v2. Minimize has no weapons. It's only just a Sheriff up against the world, out of the smoke. And down into the depths of dismay as OPY again, a successful retake. They stomp MTV and they find match point.
The second time that they are at match point. The question is, Colden, can they close it out? They weren't quite able to that last map, but they're looking like a bit of a different beast here on their defensive half on Bind. They've put away a string of rounds. This scoreboard is lit up green with a dot of red right at top. Bit like a Christmas tree. Consolation prize for MTV after their timeout. But apart from that, it is a bullet train to success for OPY.
Another festive season it seems for OPY, but how long will this season last for? You've got 2 buffer rounds to work with. 2 chances at success. And again, they're gonna insert Vera deep in towards U-Haul. Are they aware of this potential? Clearing his corners. Pyrex, what a shot. Vera though gonna catch onto INF, unaware of his insert in towards the U-Haul. Seeker's there, available. Teddy's position kinda sussed out, but it misses. The ultimates do not hit. Teddy's playing ahead of all this util. He's got the showstopper now. 2 versus 3. Can they make it work with the ultimates they have in hand? Both defenders here on this side. They've got the spike as well. No rotate available. Flaring has to join up with the rest of the team. Motive, double swing, back up sight. Minimize with that first. Teddy now, 1v3. He's got the spike. Can the rookie player, the X factor for this team, do anything up against Motive? Vera takes an unconventional peek up above. And we go 1 round the difference, 11-12, searching for overtime. Motive, cling on.
Motive. Unbelievable resolve. And shooting from the heavens is Vera as well. Did not expect that. Honestly, thought that maybe they just throw themselves out and someone else swings, but hey, if you have the shot from the heavens, you take it, says Vera. Last round of regulation. And MTV set their sights here on this B. Showstopper pretty early. Double duelist pushing out of A. All this information gain, and Kestrel will pay the price.
Oh, you know that there's no one outside of A, yet Kestrel goes aggressive with Miz. And they've lost it. 3 B-side defenders gone in the blink of an eye. The last 2 players scrambling to try to pick out what little they have left. INF from the flank and Teddy coming in from spawn. They are very much isolated. They have to just win out their fights. And Motive, they're playing the numbers stacked up together as a team. Paint shell is great, but INF, no, INF blindsides them. Double kill found. And that's the call for Flaring to just pounce on it. Finds that kill, that frag to make things doable, but it's INF, and he's been in these positions before. The molly misses. Tap of the spike. Spam coming through, but it's just 11 HP to boot. Has to go for the reload. Oh, but Zan, the saving grace for Motive. What could have been a stuck spike in the smoke ends in overtime yet again on map 2.
Enough was done for Motive. 9-3 at the half. Labored in their second attack side, but was able towards the final moments to once again push us into overtime. Honestly, I mean, you said it right, Colden. OPY overcooked a little bit with their triple push out of A. And despite all that information gained, Kestrel still was curious enough to peek, and that's what killed the cat there. Back into overtime we go.
Curious Kestrel. So how curious he is here in overtime. It doesn't seem like any of this phases him. And we've got the op out again. Similar scenes to that overtime in Breeze. Can Reza find success? A leg shot is all he's got. In that initial contact, but it's up against Teddy, right? A great amount of damage to be found. Minimize. Gonna be the first one to take down that Curious Kestrel. Out of the smoke, the flash comes through. Minimize expects it. Flaring with the kill. Men down on OPY. 1 by 1, they get thrown to the wayside. It's Miz in a 1 versus 5, and Vera hasn't moved a muscle. Stalwart on this B side. He knows that there's not a lot of chances, but chances is what Miz has been given. 1 versus 3, and now the veterans come into play. They let him have the space, they give him that respect, and Miz goes hunting instead. 45 seconds, Flaring tucks himself deep in towards the market. Makes a lot of noise though, rotating back towards that A site. And is Miz gonna capitalize off of that? 30 seconds to cook.
A lot of gambles here, but Flaring's in the right spot at the right place. If you're looking at the right angle.
Oh man, knife out just as he crosses the corner. You are smart, but not as smart as Flaring. Considers all possibilities. And this one is a done deal. Double op in the hands of Motive, and they cut down the strength of OPY.
Yeah, really hard for them to push that one, despite setting up all the smokes there on that A site. It was Pyrex really trying to flash their way and make more space for the attackers, OPY. But I'm having deja vu, Colden. 13-12 to Motive, having pushed their way into overtime, and now advantage on their side.
Kestrel again, he's so deep outside of hookah. He's tucked in towards the box. They know he's there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, Kestrel. Somehow he's still alive. Wow, does he get out of there alive? What? On 1 HP, he scrambles away. Gives his team a little bit more breathing room, but it was a close call, and while all of that action was happening, Motive have crept up on other parts of the map. RoSEA here, big head-to-head up against Teddy, being a bit of an off angle, but does he clear it? Yes, he will. Big pick now found for Motive. And one by one, the dominoes come, and Motive will make them fall. 3 players up against the 5. 2 on this A side, make that 3. They're all here. What can you muster? Kestrel out of the smoke. RoSEA cuts him down as well. And it's all just down to Pyrex, the rookie player that gave his team so much hope and is now eliminated here on Bina. Sigh of relief on Minimized face. Motive stave off yet another very close map.
A huge sigh of relief must have basically washed over them, weight off their shoulders, coming from a 9 to 3 and then moving into an overtime. That is resilience, to say the least, right? And MTV, once again, it's deja vu. It's like the Matrix, seeing that black cat walk over twice in that 12-11 position, able to dig deep, push us into overtime. And then that's where they truly shine, with their backs against the wall. And OPY unfortunately had their generational run on their defensive side. Couldn't quite put it away.
Yeah, I think it's a similar story to Breeze, right? They came out relative... Yeah. Okay, they didn't really come out too strong on the first half, but in the second half, they found that groove, they found that momentum. But Motive, again, they're just too resilient. Even if you push them up against the wall, well, they're going to use the wall to bounce right back. They're going to kick off that wall, punch you in the face, take you to overtime, and then drown you in that deep pool. So again, a map that goes overtime, but slightly missing out on that final mark. That small little spice right at the end. Motive still have that. They're clinging onto that. That allows them to, successfully win out a map that they otherwise could have lost, right? It was 10-12. One mistake there could have cost them. And who knows? This series could even be 2-0 in OPY's favor if not for those overtimes.
Indeed. And now, 2 maps down. OPY honestly has been living this life on a loop these last couple of days, has been put into this exact situation yesterday as well, faced against, basically back to second seed or second place, at least for split 1. But not for a lack of trying. They were absolutely fearless on their attack side, on their defense side, my apologies, right? Being able to play to their advantage and give MTV yet again a run for their money. But perhaps it is the experience, it's a deep experience that Motive are bringing to the table here that can keep their heads about their wits here.
Yeah, the defensive side was really proactive coming in from OPY. Perhaps that's why they decided to start on, those defensive side. I mean, yeah, they do decide to start on defensive sides if they have the chance, I think. This time around, I think if, their first half was a little bit more competitive, I think they might have got enough rounds to play with. But still, Motive, their protocols, I think, just way too strong. In the late rounds, you're up against these veterans players. They know exactly what you're going to try to do. The only way you can do so is if, Motive kind of give you that opportunity. If you give INF a chance to clutch out in those rounds. Small little errors like that, and Motive, OPY will capitalize. But, those small little errors are kept to a minimum thanks to Minimize. And they win it out 14-12. MVP goes to Flaring the Viper. 27-15. He's been... I don't think we've said a lot of... we mentioned him too much, but he's been slowly racking up those multi-kills, regularly trading out his team. Not the flashiest, but he gets the job done.
Indeed. MVP does go to the controller here. I mean, has had a spectacular kind of understanding of the push and pulls, and maybe caught off guard once in a while due to unorthodox pushes, but generally wins out those fights, wins out the big macros that comes out as that Viper trying to control this bind, the 4 lanes that lead up to the site. Nice 2 first kills as well to boot. So, not necessarily the entry flag, but can stick around long enough to make an impact for the rest of the team, which is precisely what you need flaring on that Viper to play, right? Not flashy, but Vera's right there with them, taking all those entries, getting the ace as well in the midst of his all. But it is obviously the controllers that really shine here based on the map control. And one more thing, Colden, that I've kind of glimpsed from the scoreboard is that actually it is OPY that's got more first kills. They've gotten 7 first kills as opposed to Motive's 4. And despite all that, we're able to close out more 4v5s than your opponents. So that's a strong testament to the way that Motive can play in a very structured and disciplined manner.
Yeah, you can see, I think, RoSEA finding a lot of success as a chamber, Vera as well, but is that going to continue on? Is that going to persist on to the next map? Because this is a best of 5, we're not down and out just yet. OPY have a chance to do what they did yesterday, a reverse sweep. What could that look like? We'll have to wait and see for map number 3, and before that happens, we're going to go for a short little break, so stay tuned for more action right after this.
Let them all blow with a kick home. Pedal on a pedal with an old 3 kit room boom up 400 dash roll. Got to see 100 the move. Get lifted by the new bit cool. Let's do flat over your head. Body got another on me. Oh, double nine. Telephone cut that right. Shout out my son for the rain though. I don't want cut my eye. Running fist fire, scared no rest. Go pop 1 ring, go break 1 bench. I pop missile if I wish I put 1 pistol on my head. Was popping and popping, love in the morning. Blue come over to come in the morning. Vogue in the flick, poster forming. Confident boy run a halo on me. Jealous in the NBO, fill up in the air. I be hitting minimal when I'm on the air. Yeah, boy so pitiful, wanna be my pet. Oh well, good boy, catch a bone on the stair. Renegade, let's go. Let them all blow with a kick home. Pedal on a pedal with an old 3 kit room boom up 400 dash roll. Got to see 100 the move. Get lifted by the new bit cool. Let's do flat over your head. Body got another on me. Oh, scared of my life. Grape head flavor. Take all the vibes. Right side center. Pesky side. I need to spin it. Blind with a face spin relay on this light. We gon' see where to take off. I am the chosen one, that's how I feel. I ain't tripping on rewind. The blessing I got from the angels around me are really some A1. I am the chosen one, that's how I feel. I ain't tripping on rewind. The blessing I got from the angels around me are really some A1.
Renegade, 为心将我包围。Renegade， 浓雾自我击坠。雨落下，扣紧我外套。一辆车穿梭在轨道。你不想成为我目标。Renegade， go on the more。
Renegade, let's go. Let them all blow with a kick home. Pedal on a pedal with an old 3 kit room boom up 400 dash roll. Got to see 100 the move. Get lifted by the new bit cool. Let's do flat over your head. Body got another on me. Oh, double nine. Renegade, let's go. Let them all blow with a kick home. Pedal on a pedal with an old 3 kit room boom up 400 dash roll. Got to see 100 the move. Get lifted by the new bit cool. Let's do flat over your head. Body got another on me. Oh, double nine.
Dans le silence, je perds mon souffle, les ombres dansent. Autour de moi, les champs s'agitent, on me bouscule, je marche vite, je perds mes sens. Je rêve de partir. Et dans la lumière, les rêves d'hier nous emmènent au bout du monde. Brûle la nuit, brise mes chaînes, sous l'orage, je renais dans l'écho de mes veines.
It's an incredibly close affair between these two teams. Who would have thought that David would actually take on Goliath in such a fashion? But here we are after 2 overtime maps. Motive, as that Goliath force eventually stomps their foot down and says, hey, we're done with this shenanigans that you're throwing against us. They take it 2-0 up against OPY in the best of 5 grand finals here at RoSEA playoffs. My name is Cole and joined with me is Multitudes. We're here for the third map to see if OPY can do what they did yesterday and pull off a potential reverse sweep.
I think this is where resilience and, the notion to dig deep really shines true from OPY, right? I don't think Motive have ever been tested like this. I don't think any of their previous maps here have gone to overtime. If I can just quickly look through my notes. No, none of them have ever gone into overtime. So exactly, this is the closest it's ever been. And I think this is where OPY, if they have ever a time to smell blood, this must be it. And it has to be, right? On Abyss, a map that is typically banned out by Motive, they're picking it instead. That's an interesting look, Colden.
Yeah, I think it's Motive that actually picked Abyss.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's that curveball now. It feels like this whole series has been OPY being the pitcher, the one that's throwing those curveballs, calling for Motive to hit back with something creative, hit back with adaptations. But this time, Motive are coming in without any VODs available of their Abyss. And the first time we're seeing that composition, what am I looking at? What year is this? We've got Vera on the jet, we've got Flaring on the harbor, Minimize on the KO.
Okay. I like it. We haven't seen Minimize on the KO a whole lot. I think maybe 1 or 2 maps. Flaring rocking the harbor, right? Hopping onto the Indian agent here is, like you called it, which year is this? Harbor has had a bit of a big kit kind of upgrade and rework. We'll have to see if all those adjustments are really going to pay off here. I would dare argue, though, that Abyss is probably one of Harbor's stronger maps of the map pool. So if there's a map to pull it out, it'll have to be this.
And in terms of the roles, again, the last time that, Overpowered Youths played this map, it was up against Unsigned 5. That was the first map of the best of 5 yesterday. And back then, Miz was on the jet, Pyrex was on the Sova. This time, Pyrex is on the Neon, Miz is on the Sova. So again, the topic of Miz swapping over to the Initiator, being that IGL caller for his team, I think this could be a better look than what we saw yesterday. It was a bit of a relatively one-sided affair, 13-8 Overpowered Youth lost. And they change it up here, up against what is as a stronger force. Kestrel immediately going, Kestrel was the one actually on the Initiator. Okay, bit of a change up instead, but he's still going to push on forward. He's still going to have that curious nature about him. And almost getting the kills. Oh, it's a little bit of damage done, but that buys time for the flank to come through. His whole team is here trying to take on the fight. Vera stuck in a corner, slowed up as well, and he's not able to find a trade frag in that situation. But Minimize, though, that second layer of defense, save pair of hands, will allow Motive to get that pistol round win.
Yeah, a bit chaotic, right? They completely left B wide open, triple pushed out of A. I mean, double duelist for a reason, right? Might as well play it to your advantage, but you don't expect, of course, the IGL. Slow and steady. KO looking around that top rope in T spawn, or attacker spawn rather, to find nice ghost shots to seal the deal. Once again, pistol going the way of Motive. Have been good so far in terms of pistol rounds, only dropping 1 during that bind matchup, and so we'll be able to buy up nice Vandals and Guardians to boot as they set their sights on once again free real estate.
Spike plant.
I'm just a little surprised that the gate crash wasn't utilized early either, unfortunately, That triple push out, oh, there we go. It's the G2 strat. We need the copy pasta. I think, chat, if you know the copy pasta, please put it in.
Yeah, extremely disrespectful. Coming in A couple of these players. Honestly, I wouldn't mind them just falling off the map, right? You don't want to give the ult orbs away.
Danger.
Okay.
INF. Just got something to say about this. They want to take a couple more kills to their name. Miz with one more.
One enemy
And it's a
remaining.
decent amount of damage, all things considered. So, last player, I think it's Teddy. Just gonna die to the spike. So, decent amount of damage done, all things considered. 3 players down. That's not too shabby for their upcoming round.
Yeah, and I actually question, you know, because it was Pyrex who jumped off first, whether if Pyrex had kind of joined the fray as the Neon to open things up with a bit of a slide, if things could have been even more degraded for the side of Motive. But hey, that's a round done and dusted. We move along ahead into a strong buy round. Light shields for the Motive side. That's the best they've got so far. Or rather, they perhaps know that this is a long-range fight, you know, a lot of long angles here, so might as well do the Fnatic kind of strat and run light shields most of the time.
KO is great to detect where players are located, especially if they're aggressive duelists. And they are spotted. Miz gonna get detected, forced off to a safer angle. Oh my lord, minimize! Again, from above the smoke, he loves to find those small little gaps. And with the harbor utility, cuts off so many angles off this site. INF's just being caught with his pants down.
Yeah,
Here.
I think it still slows your friendly, so you can't be playing around with... Well, sorry, it definitely slows your enemies, so you can't be playing around those pushes against the harbor wall. So right off the bat, this Heaven has been smoked off. 3v5 retake is a lot to ask for.
They're gonna go for it. They don't want to lose this NT bonus. Vera sucked in deep in towards the side, and there's a flash pops from Minimize. Finds a double kill. Teddy, nothing to do about him. Just a single kill in the mix, and that's a bonus for Motive.
That's a huge conversion as well. I mean, you called it right, you know? I think Miz as well as INF overstayed their welcome a little bit more and just made the retake so much harder. One for their consolation prize, but doesn't quite keep the economy humbled. So, on the flip side, OPI is gonna have to hard save here. And given that this is a large map, you gotta do a bit of gambling. Looks like mid's the answer, and looks like we're in for a brawl. Take it away, Colvin. It's all you. Rap God time.
Alright, they put it all on black, and the wheel spins in their favor. I say that as they are completely obscured by smoke, and the fight is just going in Motive's favor. Zen, nice shots down onto Mods Miz. They've got a small little sliver above the smoke, but what we thought was a big scuffle in mid, it's kind of just resulted in players shooting through smoke. Kestrel again. Curious Kestrel on his little roam. Spots out where Zen is. Expects him to come back in to check mid. And will he get the shot though? That is the question. Oh, the timing betrays him! All of that's happening. INF gets caught off guard trying to get up the zip line. It's an opportunity now. Flank coming in from Kestrel. As ever, taking that fight up against Reza, but too aware of that potential. Motive, not gonna let that one slip by. 2 players still standing for OPY, and we'll see if they even want to give this a shot. I have a feeling they might.
Vera does have, Pyrex does have the Vandal picked up as well, so perhaps somebody can take the fight over. We'll find Rizza, that opens things up. But Teddy's on the other side. Okay, keeping things interesting though. Very well close shot top north. And now it's a double. Gonna stack onto Pyrex and can't live much longer. Nice flick from the IGL. And putting their lead securely 4-0 so far. Cool, calm, collected.
Yep. Saw Minimize give a couple of claps there. Likes what he sees. Good macro play, despite them losing a couple of players. Still get the round win, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, you know, that bum rush from OPY down mid, that was the call. You know, they tried to do a scuffle, too many smokes obscured their way, and that's Motive's plan, right? Just cut the maps as much as possible, make it painful to take map control. But here, this full smoke's gonna maybe give them a bit of a angle here.
Oh, big fight coming through is a teleport away, but Teddy instead swings out while all the chaos is happening. So Miz couldn't provide that assistance as he would have liked. Harbor wall comes through. Kestrel again. Ah, what is this wide swing from him? Thinking that he is a PRX something. And INF, ooh, not looking too clean so far in this map. He's been having a couple of unfortunate deaths so far. And now Miz, it was last spotted towards A. That's the instant call for motive. Head towards B.
That's tough right now. It's a utter dismantlement so far, right? The aggression from OPY hasn't quite paid off. They get 1-2 picks here and there, but can't find more trades than lives given away. And Miz, mid-round shot caller for OPY, struggling to make head and tails of what Motive are bringing to the table. You know, we've never seen the orange team here play the Abyss map, and maybe that's obscuring their understanding of how this team plays.
They did play it in Predator League, but that was with a different roster, right, Motive. But it still stands to reason that the coach has a lot of protocols that they have for this map. So by them not playing it doesn't mean that they're bad at it. It just means they don't want to show what they have, and evidently so. It's the most interesting composition, I would say, that Motive has brought to the table thus far. I think this is the first time we've seen Harbor in this entire stage of the regional qualifiers.
Yeah, I love the rework of the smoke as well, to be able to just actively and precisely, kind of like the Omen smoke, put down, coverage in heavens, as well as CT pushes, just a bit more utility there. So really much, we're seeing a lot of value come out from that now. And still a big old noggin for OPY. Recon Vault has been destroyed, and scanned out is Kess, and now in a tough spot facing 4 players.
What is this? A 4-man catwalk push? KO now uses his ultimate null command comes through. Vera fully clears Kestrel. It's a split in towards the spawn! Vera, the drive-by headshot onto Teddy. Pops him straight out of the round. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, contact play up of mid, and the round is basically done and dusted.
The gamble stack onto B as OPY didn't quite pan out. Miz now on a bit of a flank here, just to maybe hold them in, get some exit frags, but the remaining 2 players not looking to advance too much further.
I mean, they've lost so much ground. Mid was so compromised, they could be anywhere in spawn. Miz will try, but Riza's got 50 angles to back off if he doesn't land that shot. He's got a couple more teammates around him to help him with that endeavor. So yeah, OPY just get instantly outplayed in this round. Riza still marking on that flank. The perfect weapon for the job, knowing that they don't have money for full armor. Outlaw is the perfect weapon for the job.
Yeah. And despite all that, that was actually their... Well, they're always scrambling, they're always forcing effectively. In the last couple of rounds, they've been walking into these fights with, not suboptimal armor, I'd say. And the next round is going to be very similar as well. Teddy, I don't know if Teddy's going to even buy anything right now, but it's looking painful for them. The scoreboard also says a lot, to be honest. OPY can't find a footing here on their defensive.
Unfortunately, Kestrel is also 0-6. He's been very inquisitive as his new nickname, but unable to actually find impact. And just as I call him out, finds an instant frag onto Vera. Oh, minimize! Getting caught out in the open. Meanwhile, mid is still under a lot of scrutiny. Ultimate's being sent across the map by Riza. But Miz, yeah, he's just stuck in this corner. What a beautiful storm surge. Gonna blind him up. Gives Motive a bit of space, and that is Teddy's call, but he's making a lot of noise. Are they aware of this? They have no space to work around this Motive, but they still got the right call. Unfortunately, the ult is being popped by Miz. The last player being corralled upon. Labeled spray, but Teddy still eventually gets that over the line. First round on the board for OPY.
This isn't over.
Indeed. A sigh of relief, at least. The big old goose egg is gone. Kestrel heard you through the whispers of the monitor and had to clutch up, and unfortunately dropped to the 0 point, or rather the molly from Minimize, but regardless was able to throw things into enough chaos and allow Miz and Teddy to kind of wrap around and catch Minimize on the back foot. It was expensive though, even using the Waylay ult as well in the final player, but hey, desperation calls for desperate attempts. 4 ultimates, this might be a strong one.
again. They're gonna try it, but they're being met at the door. But the door slammed in their face. Miz, multi-kill Maestro just obliterates them long range. You try to take the fight to him. Instead, they'll call the ambulance for you. Minimize. He's on the wrong side of the map and his position has been hurt for as well. Kestrel with the close. Miz taking matters into his own hands.
All right. You know, a bit of life, signs of life now from the overpowered youths. Finding their mark. Vera was the first contact, but Miz just steady pair of hands, you know. Perhaps dancing around the refract, using that as a distraction. Whatever it takes to win that round. And, you know, no ultimates utilized for OPY either. So this might be their game in. The question is, how long does it take to break the economy for Motive? They need to at least get one more to convert and push their gap even closer.
That's rough. They have to be aggressive. And this... Oh, no. Just in the nick of time, RoSEA pulls out his weapon to dispatch Miz. Vera is tagged down low. He's still the tip of the spear. He still will go in fearless. Drone doesn't spot out Teddy around the corner. And Vera might get caught off guard. Hunter makes him dash upwards. Eventually it does connect. And Kestrel from downtown gonna send out the bolts to find a double kill for his team. But RoSEA still making things interesting. A catch onto INF. The lightning fingers coming through from Pyrex to dissuade them towards this B site. They got a bit of a lurk as well in towards A. It's Zen up in towards heaven already, and he will catch Kestrel off guard, pants down, minimize as well, catching the rotate. They know exactly where Teddy is, so spike being delivered over. Teddy really out of position.
Spike planted.
Yeah, big plays, right? You know, investing even that Hunter's Fury to catch not one but two with that utility is big news, but Motive were able to basically abort plan. You know, deploying the Cosmic Divide just sold that B hit a little bit more. And Zan, already ahead of the game, hadn't actually left the spot from attacker spawn either. Was able to just get the drop onto Kess, who thought he was ahead of the game. But now, 1v3, this is a tall order for Teddy.
You're done.
Isolates the first. With all the Astro utility, you'd think it's extremely unlikely that he's gonna get this one over the line. Zan's got to toy with his food. 7 rounds on the board for Motive. Back to winning ways.
Yeah, a couple given perhaps it's a consolation prize, but so far, you know, feeling sharp, shutting down Miz, who got a bit of a nice 3k in the round before, kind of putting them in their place. And the macros continue to work the favor of Motive at this moment. Forcing, again, a very forced buy from OPY, light shields, Teddy on that heavy armor that has the dimensional drift. So wondering if they want to maybe do a bit of an aggressive push? No. They've opted to keep things a bit more simple now.
The thing about OPY is look at their composition. They only really have like a clove to kind of dissuade and execute from happening, right? You've got 3 duelists. You might as well play extremely aggressive and catch them at those choke points instead of letting them execute, because you don't have any stall power. You have nothing to really slow them. Yes, you know, maybe you have the saturate, you have some shock darts, a stun available, but nothing that's actually gonna really stop them, right? Yes, you have smokes from the clove, but it doesn't last very long as well. So it's really burst firepower, burst presence from OPY that's gonna net them an advantage. This time around, the round has been dragged out. The aggression has not been met with any opening kills. So look at this, start of information. The read is wrong from OPY. They're all stacked on towards B as Motive head towards A.
Kestrel has to do it all though. Will be first contact against 4 barrels. We'll see if they'll live up to this. They're in this off-angle position, finds one, not the second though. So with this player being pushed so far on, they must know that's pretty clear to take this A for themselves.
It's just a bit of an eco round, but they're still going to do the due diligence, reckoning invested just to clear out this A site. And Teddy wants to give it a shot. Dimensional Drift invested, spotting out where these players are, but Zan instead gonna catch INF off guard. Pyrex though, making something for his team. Double kill found, now the flank is being compromised. RoSEA has to turn his attention away. They're being compromised, stuck in the corner, crunched upon, and OPY convincing at that. Linking up all their ultimates. And they'll successfully get another round on the board.
And plus, you know, staving away that reckoning as well. That's got to feel pretty good as we move to the tail half here of the first half. I mean, Kes, nice off angle, getting a lot of information because it takes a marathon and a half for the rotate. So the early information does help. And I also think that Zan pushing their own harbor wall was a bit egregious, wanting to get the drop on players flooding out from the north side of the map, but, you know, met their demise while doing so. So this just left so many opportunities for OPY to climb back into the driver's seat here.
Scanning ahead.
See if they can drive this round to their success as well. Kestrel spotting out a lot of information. Main control again going to Motive's favor. Rotate has come through as well, but this is not the commitment. Motive, they're gonna milk out this clock.
Oh, they're leaving Vera though hidden here, and Kestrel, curious Kestrel will find probably their demise. Let's see how long Vera takes to play with their food. Well, the spike already rapidly moving towards this B. Kestrel will find their place, and the quick rotates are being called.
I mean, Vera has just waited as much as he could. Oh no, but turns around at the wrong timing. INF has reclaimed this space. Vera initially called his team back because he had space here towards A. But now INF stands between them and a free site. He does not falter, holds fast, but the flash is better. Pyrex will try his very best. At least claws back one more. No, minimize! Hidden hands! A face palm at that! A crucial round! Now gives his opponent an advantage. RoSEA wants to bail out Motive. A big flank being attempted by Miz. As that smoke fades, so does the chance of Motive. Nonetheless, Zan has something to say about this. Readjustments for RoSEA. And they bail Motive out despite their IGL dropping to the abyss. It's still a round win for Motive.
It's still a round win despite Kestrel being, you know, dispatched early. INF fortunate to, you know, get rid of Vera, but didn't stick around long enough despite, you know, the IGL losing their footing. I think perhaps the fast lane caught them off guard. Wasn't quite sure what happened, but regardless, safe pair of hands were the final two from Motive Esports. And now, 3-8. Everything is deja vu. These scorelines have been repeated time and time again. We'll see what this triple duelist wants to bring to the table. Teddy in the same position. Very aggressive. Takes the shot. The flash comes out as well. Divi's out of there.
Ooh. I don't mind that. A lot of players around that corner, and I don't think that flash was too on the dot, too precise. Meanwhile, guess who's curious? Flanking them. It's Kestrel already going all the way around from A. Miz expecting the commitment here, and he's gonna stand out in the open. They're just gonna back their aim, but INF has been hurt, caught out. Kestrel finds his mark on his curious play. 4 rounds to 8. They dodged that 9-3 scoreline. It's gonna be enough though for them to come back on this attacking side.
Is it indeed, right? That's the play here. Don't overstay your welcome. Teddy gets one, dips out. Kestrel, no, feeding information, nice and easy. Hopefully checking those corners as well. And ultimately, they were able to convert that final round and make it a little closer. This pistol is going to be important though. OPY haven't had a great streak in terms of converting pistols. Only one in the last, can I count? 5. So that's a 20% conversion rate, despite them having a better pistol conversion rate overall in the series here than Motive Esports. We'll see if the triple duelist pays out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly, all things considered, kind of surprised that they managed to get away with 4 rounds, right? Considering their composition, which was so aggressive and, you know, really lacking utility to stall out executes. It did pretty decent to get 4 rounds on the board, especially considering the start that Motive had. So really, it's gonna come down to the question, is that enough buffer? Is that enough buffer for them to really close out this map? Or is that difference gonna be too much? Is Motive's macro understanding gonna be too tall of a task for OPY to overcome.
I feel like the more I look at Motive's kind of agent lineup right now, the more I like it. There's actually a lot of stall utility that they can provide on your defensive half, right? And on the attacking side, OPY don't have a lot of information gathering capabilities. It does mean that they need to double swing or triple swing together, and that, like, you know, ties up capital at a specific spot of the map. And so this is the tough spot, right? Where, you know, as an attacker, OPY need to get on site. They need to get, you know, drain away the utility and resources from Motive, who have a lot of stalling capability. And if Motive do actually win out the stall, it's going to be really hard to maintain map presence across the rest of the map.
Pressure's gonna be on the IGL, I guess, of OPY. Miz, not on the initiator anymore. That job has been passed over to Kestrel, and well, you can see that he's not gonna change his playstyle whatsoever. Still gonna be very insistent on pushes. But I have to look towards Miz as that main entry duelist with Pyrex. Are they going to be able to find those opening kills, find those frags that his team desperately is searching for? Up above, they spot out where Zan is, has to teleport back. But the rest of the team, they want to capitalize off that information. Triple duelists swing in together, but it's INF to find that first pick. Miz answers back, flaring, clawing a couple of kills back for his team, but Teddy, they're all swinging together. OPY with overwhelming force and overpowered youths crunch on towards this B side. It's only just Vera, and with a single kill to Motive's name, they're gonna have to rely on the duelist to do the damage, but not enough. 10 HP the difference on a couple of these players, and OPY, the second pistol of this map.
All right. Now we can talk. Now we can breathe a little bit. It's more than likely that they're going to be able to push their way into an anti-eco, but, you know, upsets have been done. Looks like Motive, you know, not looking to do a G2 or anything based on their map positioning, looking to maybe gamble and get some orbs for themselves. See bandits and sheriffs. At the very least, some people might view they respect the game. I don't know how you feel about. How do you feel about it, Golden?
But what?
Do you think it's right to that G2 did what they did?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Nothing wrong with this execute here on B as well. It's pretty convincing. You've got all the pieces in the right place to even let Miz pick up that ult orb. And as time ticks down, they should be aware of Minimize coming in from the flank. They should be aware.
Spike planted.
And they will be. 6-8 OPUI. 2 convincing rounds in a row, both on the B side.
Okay. Minimize, showing emotion once again. Right, now a little worried that whatever happened on Bine's gonna do a bit of repeat. And yes, they won that, but as IGL, you want a bit more assurances than just, I hope that we can win this out. So we take back into bonus. This has to be their conversion to keep a nice healthy buffer against OPY. Or else, once again, things can really snowball with the triple duelist. We see Kess on a bit of a peek around the long edge. Zan finds the mark, finds the second. Is paid for their sins eventually, but is it too little too late?
Bit of a fake being thrown in by Miz. His team is headed back towards this A side. Spike in the hands of Kestrel. Of course, he's curiously walking in towards A. And getting over the line, Miz somehow gets away. And with the high tide available, he might be able to cross back towards this A side. Kestrel has the spike, but he's not going for the plant.
What's happening, Kestrel?
Oh dear.
Please don't.
He might get caught off guard. Oh, thankfully so. Thins out the numbers. Vera goes down. Next on the bat is INF. Is Minimize expecting this? Yes, he is. Turns at the right moment, but INF is better. INF is just better. Infiltrating their defenses. Quad kill for the Clove. And gets OPY that bonus round win.
Yes. Coach Spin hitting that timeout quick and easy. We've seen this before, and right now Zan absolutely feeling it. The fake sold well. Kestrel a little iffy there, but manages to get the drop onto the likes of Vera. The plant comes down eventually, so the bonus so critical. Back to a 1-round game, and it was 8-4 at the half. So if you're Coach Spin, you have to figure out how to dismantle it, right? OPY sold the fake fairly well, despite not having too many smokes and too much utility on site. Despite them losing 2 right off the rip, they were still able to garner back and flip the script onto Motive.
Yeah, technically a 3 versus 5 in their bonus, right? Which is something you don't see at all. And I'm not sure on when the call was made, but Kestrel had that spike and he was so fast on A already. As a Sova as well, and he's going deep in spawn, right? Just to find a frag to make it doable. Set up his team for success, knowing that he is that win con and, a lot of pressure, because if he loses that fight, he drops the spike in enemy territory. It's going to be incredibly difficult to pick that one up. But we live in this universe, and in this one, Kestrel wins it out.
They do indeed. Save round for Motive after this timeout. So maybe just playing around the smokes. We see some judges involved.
Alright, Bucky, gonna do the job. Another shotgun in the mix from Miz. But where has he gotten off to? RoSEA eventually gets found out by INF, but still a couple of players around the corner. Zan somehow gets a kill with that stinger of his. Flash through the smoke wall. Kestrel spotting out Vera, marking down these corners. Minimize. Being peppered down with a bit of utility. He'll be lucky to even find a single kill. He will. But OPY, those round wins have evened up the scoreline just like that in the blink of an eye. And that 4-8 deficit felt like a year ago.
OPY really putting the pedal to the metal, right? They know they had the advantage in terms of firepower, so you just press the issue and you win out those rounds. You pick up, keep the Odin within the hands of a Neon. That brings back terrible memories for myself, Colden. But that's precisely what Pyrex is gonna be working here on this A site. It's just Vera here, supported by RoSEA from Heaven. Not much utility in terms of stalling power, unfortunately. And we've already got this ultimate lined up.
Oh my lord, Kestrel! That was way too deep. And he gets swatted out as well. No Sova to assist on this one, but you've got the convergent paths, right, for this whole... No, actually, you used it up already on this execute itself. So now you're lacking utility, you're lacking players. Motive, this is your chance to strike back fast. Oh, but a slide in. Flamethrower, Pyrex with the Odin, only good for 1, but INF's there to clean up the kills. Not dead yet, looking for more, but gets cut down by Zan. Triple kill for the controller. It's on to Teddy, the rookie for his squad. 1 versus 2, isolates them like a veteran. 1v2 for the Terminator. He may look cute, but he is absolutely deadly.
It looked so good for the retake, right? I mean, honestly, the aggression was much warranted, but in this 1v2 situation, once again, OPY show why they're clutch masters against the rest of them. Teddy, safe pair of hands, steady with those headshots. Not the outlook, not the outcome you're looking for after Coach Spin's timeout. So we go again here. Knives out and about.
Wow. Vera gets caught, cleared out. RoSEA, good bolts from his ult. It's just a couple of pistols. Molly's great, forces him off the plant. Buys him a little bit of time. Flash back in. Heaven, big fight coming through, both trade of utility. Kestrel goes up, he takes the fight in and dies because of it. Now his teammates under scrutiny. Motive, they flipped the script. They're looking for 1 more. And despite the 1v2 clutch, Motive bite right back.
The thrifty of all times to get 1. I mean, we take these dubs as we see fit. And they're going to be able to walk into the next round fully loaded, guns taken from their opponents, right? And despite so much space being worked, it is RoSEA just peppering them down, as well as perhaps a bit of a whiff up in the Heaven's ropes to really open things up for the retake and get themselves in the board here. So a bit more momentum here, breaking that 5, if you count the previous half, 6 round streak for OPY as well. They've got themselves the Null Command, they've got themselves the Reckoning, a lot of retake potential for Motive if they choose to.
Well, that is an option, right? Do you want to flood back in? Do you want to assist Vera here on this hold? And you might need to, but Pyrex, instant trade there. And because of the null command, it's gonna disincentivize them from accelerating in towards A pivot down back towards mid. Kestrel gets caught on the rotate across. Flaring, super clutch catch right there down towards mid. A bit of a pause now. Haven't seen a lot of those here, especially on this OPY attack side.
There.
Might be waiting for the Clove to revise their smokes for a heaven push, heaven coverage at the least 2 seconds before that comes online. And they're choosing the right side. There's RoSEA just holding down the fort, trying to get some pot shots in. Can't find anyone though.
Tap of the spike. Couple shots in, but nothing connects at the moment. Another retake on the cards, but look at the ultimates. You've got the Reckoning, you've got the Cosmic Divide for Motive. This is gonna be a tough one unless you play up and aggressive, unless you embrace the overpowered youth style. Flash at the ready, dart as well, and he gets so blinded by multiple pieces of utility. There is nowhere to hide. Zan with the cleanup. And it's easy pickings from Motive. Not a single player lost on this retake. They finally found that momentum.
Yes, this is the Motive that we've seen time and time again. Disciplined, and the retake erupts in a second, and you're just overwhelmed. They got the, they did get the recon dart out of the way, but everything else was too much to bear, and all these 1v1s came about. 1vx's that Motive found themselves in to pick apart OPY's defenses as they retook this site.
For
For the first time in a long time, it is a save round for OPY. Only Bucky in hand, a Vandal, and just Sheriffs.
Slow-paced approach. Haven't seen that too often. Jones gonna spot out this high-low setup. Falls back on a safer angle. Oh my lord, not like this! Vera, just off of pure intuition, spams through the smoke. And the utility comes flooding straight in. No one breaks the dart. And so RoSEA will catch that kill onto Pyrex. Another double man advantage from Motive, and this time their retakes have been sublime. But now that Miz has something to say about this. Pre-fire, Bucky shot through the smoke, goes in for seconds. INF is there, lays a lot more damage onto Minimize as well. And now they swing out of the heavens. Spike planted in the mix, exposed open position. INF takes a heads-up duel. 2 versus 2, close range Bucky shot, jumping around the corner. Miz finds it, down to the 1v1. Miz giving his teammate an opportunity here. Teddy with just the Sheriff, the rookie, up against the veteran. And the veteran comes out on top. Minimize with the triple kill. Bails Motive out of disaster and gets to the 11th on the board.
You got dicey. What a brilliant scan from the side of RoSEA to spot all these incoming OPY players. Finds one through the heavens. But it's Miz that really made things interesting, right? Just the intuition, playing around the utility of the Bucky, using the map to their advantage. And then ultimately, it's a Vandal versus Sheriff. And not enough shots will drop the IGL. 11-9. Peeling away is Motive now.
Everyone's finding their moment on Motive. Minimize is gonna have a chunky scan. No, everyone dodges it. But there's no information on towards A as well. Motive have a sneaking suspicion it's gonna be B site. Zan is under pressure, gets hit by the stun, holds in for reinforcements. The scan is great, but Zan is better. Staying alive for just a moment nets them a single kill, and that, at least for the moment, staves off this approach. Minimize as he gets spotted, jumping straight down in towards INF. Not dead yet, jumping around the corner. Minimize takes it all. Triple kill again for the IGL. You test him, and you best be ready for the beast.
In the face of absolute danger, sees a drone, ignore, knows the win con is to really target the spike planter who has been cut off by that harbor wall from the rest of their team members. So finding this one, even forcing out the not dead yet expensive round for OPY because Minimize just puts their feet down. It's now match point. It's now series point for Motive.
Ooh, and look at the money. It's not great from OPY. 2 judges in the mix. And they're going back towards the B side from what worked in earlier rounds. Full on executes here. Again, Zen's gonna be tested. This time, he's playing in a different spot. Avoids all the utility. Avoids the convergent paths. And into the smoke. He will find his mark.
Down B.
The X Factor looking for more as Motive swarm the B site with conviction, with prowess. In a 4 versus 2, the flank as well has to be considered. Vera's making a lot of noise. Now they spot him out, but he's still good for the kill. It's just left onto INF. He's been clutch, but is he 1v4 clutch? 1 minute left on the clock and he's got time to cook. He's gonna rotate all the way back towards A.
All rests on INF's shoulders. Has to do it all. Normally the lurk potential now has to clutch up as controller and duelist against 3 players. Zan, Riza, and Flaring all looking to find and close this out on their map pick.
And they're just going in together as a death ball. How does INF isolate these fights? They've even spotted him out. No assistance, no help, all INF. Motive with the veterans in tow. They lay down their utility. They go in as one. Jumping out of the smoke. They even spot him out. Motive looking for one more. And while INF gets 2, is Riza with the close. It looks like there's gonna be enough time. And a Motive, they've done it in a 3-0 faction. This is Motive Manifest, reclaiming the throne of the RoSEA region. Get hyped, get active, get motivated.
They maintain their map dominance over Split 1, not dropping a single map despite the fight, despite what OPY has done during their Dark Horse run, forcing 2 overtimes on Breeze and Bind, cutting it absolutely close, knowing that Goliath can indeed bleed, but well, Motive stand tall, they stand proud, and they go back to basics, and they play to perfection. I mean, has there ever been a better fairy tale ending from Motive Esports than this?
Yeah, again, they've been tested on all 3 maps. But Motive, your champions of RoSEA, they sit atop a throne, right? Of so many teams being beaten along the way. They've been tested, on all 3 maps here. But that resilience, that championship mindset to just power through these kinds of insane obstacles, because to be frank, OPY did play amazingly. They brought the fight straight to Motive, but unfortunately that experience, that veterancy from Motive was just too much to handle.
A lot of it is understanding that this is truly a mental game, right? You gotta dig deep. There's so many times where Motive were faced against numerous consecutive rounds of wins that OPY were putting under their belt, and despite all of that, able to dig deep and push things into overtime, recover their losses, or recover their wins on Abyss second half as well. It is that resiliency that really pays off in the long run for such a team.
Definitely so. I mean, you take a look at these highlights, right? It's heroic plays coming in from overpowered youths. Understanding that is their win condition. Time and time again, these multi-kill rounds going in their favor. But if you look at the utility in some of these rounds, right? Motive just feel like they have an unfair advantage. Feels like they just know something that we don't, or at least, OPY don't know. Right? Minimize just jumping straight ahead. And there, what could have been the clutch of the century, INF falls shy by just a single kill, but we put on a damn good performance up against OPY, a very strong force, a respectable force.
And of course, none other than the IGL from the land down under will be Minimize taking MVP for the Motive Esports team. I mean, rightfully so, on that KO, providing so much value as well. And honestly, the rest of the team is right up there in terms of KD, right? No one's stopping short in terms of performance. And you can tell, when everyone swings out together, that's the Motive way. So kudos to Minimize, being both IGL as well as MVP, able to shot call and frag out. 243 ACS.
Impressive work from the honorary Singaporean. The man from down under now sits atop a throne with his boys from MYSG, and it's an incredible stat line. I mean, he's playing all the way from Australia. Yes, he has like so-called peakers advantage, if you want to say that, but on incredibly high ping compared to the rest in the server, he's still able to put on this kind of performance to call his team to such a strong win. I guess in this entire stretch of the playoffs is something commendable, and very happy that he's got this moment to shine here in a region, or at least in a new region where he didn't have the opportunity now this year. So yeah, just super happy for him.
Indeed, very much indeed. And hey, commiserations to OPY. Overpower Use put up one heck of a fight. Honestly, it's what, a total of, I can't math right now, 16, 17 maps thus far, really pulling it to the grind, but ultimately, you know, couldn't best the Goliath. But hey, regardless, you're pushing your way into the next stage. Second place is not too bad considering where OPY came from. You know, just a shambling of some friends coming together, wanting to play some good old Valorant. And good old Valorant we got indeed.
Yeah, and I do think we have a winner's interview ready as well. So excited to see who we have on the other end of the call. Hello, Zen! Hello. Congratulations. What a grand finals. Let's just kick off with that. First two maps was, honestly, all three maps was incredibly close. So just want to get your initial thoughts. Like, what was it like playing up against a team that basically had no strat book, playing confidently, you know, playing to their strengths? Like, how does it feel playing up a team like them?
Honestly, it was hard for us at first. It was very like interesting to fight against. Especially, it just felt like rank, honestly. Eventually, in my head, I was like, I'm just playing rank. I'm still playing rank in my head. Yeah.
And truly, right, it was hard. OPY really took your number for a number of rounds, stringing together win streaks on both Bind as well as Breeze. Walk me through what the team morale was like, because at some points in time, you know, you're all down, sorry,
12?
At some points in time, you know, they were climbing in scores, meeting you, pushing you to OT. What was the resilience required for this team to really push through?
I mean, I think all of us are pretty experienced, so none of us will ever feel like giving up, even when we're down really hard. And we just stay positive the whole way. Yeah.
All right. Okay, just a curious question. Who's the one that's giving like those motivational talks? Is it Minimize? Is it someone else on the team? Or is it you?
No, not me. It would be Mini, I think. Yeah, Mini. He's usually like being the one like,
what does he say?
I don't know, he just makes jokes. He doesn't really make anything like inspirational. He just tries to make it fun. Yeah. He's he's
just a chill dude.
Yeah.
That's a little surprising, because sometimes on the face cam we see Minimize very stoic, very stoic, and sometimes he does this.
Yeah.
So hey, glad to hear that at least he's the vibe merchant. You know, that's honestly really important. One final question. You know, we do want to give you some space to celebrate with your team, but you know, how does it feel? You had a spectacular match, right? On I believe Bind, just clutching it out on the Viper, making your personal PR of 28 kills. You know, what was your thought process like trying to push into OT and get the match under control for yourself?
I think it was Breeze. I was playing Astra on Breeze, but I don't know. I just played my game that I always played during scrims. I just kept believing what we worked on during the scrims.
All right, that's nice to hear. I want to ask a bit more of a personal question. Two last questions for you. All right.
Yeah.
First one is like, how does it feel like playing controller again? I know you've tried, or you have played controller, you have played duelist as well, going back and forth. Do you think controller is a good fit for you? Do you think that this is the direction you're gonna hit in your career? Or, I can see some of your duelist tendencies, jumping through smoke here and there, but how does it feel playing controller now?
It's definitely more comfortable for me because I always struggled with entering, especially into this. But since now I'm in the backline, I can play my game more and think more.
All right. Good to hear that you're feeling comfortable. Looks like you guys have a really comfortable 3-0 as well. And I want to leave you with an opportunity to shout out anyone, thank any fans or silence any of the haters. The mic is yours. Take it away.
Thanks to all the fans for always supporting. Thank you to my girlfriend for streaming also. And my family, of course, always supporting me.
I love it. Thank you, Zan, so much. Once again, congratulations to you and the rest of the Motive Esports for, basically winning out and going a flawless streak here in the split ones. You deserve the rest. Thanks again for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Wow. Zan. Amazing that we're able to interview such a veteran here. Like you called it, controllers have some certain tendencies, but Zan absolutely popped off in many occasions and was able to rise up and provide such a valued experience for the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has been around the block. Ever since a couple years ago when he popped onto the scene first as like that star duelist, right? He's playing on Lace for a while, went over to different projects, different teams, and now he's finding that groove. I would like to coin this kind of approach as like the TENS arc, playing the duelist
The
first,
second arc.
shifting over to the controller. Now he's found his comfortable space, but he still has that kind of aggressive nature. So love to see that he's finding that form, and I think this is only just the starting grounds for Motive to build that foundation. Yes, there were a lot of close maps here today, but if anything, it's good learning points for them going ahead towards Challengers Southeast Asia. And speaking about Challengers Southeast Asia, I think we have the brackets ready for you guys as well. So this is the lay of the land, shall I say, of how we ended up in this situation, multitudes.
Indeed. We've got we've got Unsun 5 as well as GXR both claiming their tickets as number 3 and number 4 respectively to be able to punch theirs into split 2. But MTV as well as OPY, Motive Esports as well as Overpowered Youth both making and progressing their way into the next round, into group stages along with the rest of Southeast Asia. We have our winners, we have our victors. Today was for the glam and the glory, and holy, did we get glam and glory and grit from these teams today. It has been amazing to watch.
Yeah, and reminder that Motive and Overpowered Youths, yes, the OPY didn't exactly win today, but they still qualified to Challengers Southeast Asia. So they are in the group stage. They will continue to play on for the next, I think in the coming weeks or so. But also a reminder that Unsigned 5 as well as Galaxy Rain, they have an opportunity to play again in Split 2 because they will qualify as top 4. So we haven't seen the last of them just yet. They will be playing in the playoffs at the very least for Split 2.
Indeed. I'm gonna be honest, thinking back to the predictions there, Colden, I was rooting for Overpowered Youths and the rest of them up against me.
Respect.
I mean, yes, thank you. But hey, I can't feel but be proud of what OPY has done, right? I mean, they did spectacularly in the lower bracket finals and really put a dent to it in against Motive Esports. But ultimately, I guess, like Zan said, the experience does wins out. And, I think it has a lot of potential for the Overpowered Youths to maybe become adults, overpowered adults, and try and figure out their way here in this esports world. So that's the silver lining here, Colton.
Yeah, excited to see what we have going forward for OPY, because this is not the last we've seen of them. They will be headed over towards Challengers Southeast Asia, and speaking of that, so will we. This has been the conclusion here at RoSEA, the RoSEA region. It's been a pleasure having everyone here in terms of the casters, as well as the production team, the broadcast team working behind the scenes. Shout out to Aldi, who made all of this possible, organizing behind the back lines. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us here at RoSEA Region. We'll see you guys in Split 2 and as well as Challengers Southeast Asia. So stay tuned for more Valorant action here in Southeast Asia. Mine has been Colin. Joined with me was Multitudes. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Take care and good night.
Head down, enemy remaining.